Detroit Sports On Demand.
DeAndre Swift, he's going to take it all the way for the touchdown. Open in the corner, he triple.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app today. Take us with you everywhere you go. Search Woodward Sports Network or WSN Live.
And good morning. How are you, Maddy?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I'm good. Thursday.
Yes.
A lot of changes going on. The weather still sucks, but someone in this room has
Welcome
yet to wear
to
a coat this
winter.
week.
Welcome to
I don't
winter.
like wearing coats. I'm sorry.
Why?
They're just, it's a lot. They're baggy.
Are they really?
Then I have to put
Yeah.
it somewhere.
Or
I
can't
agree
you
with
just
that.
buy like a coat that's like, light fit, but like does the job?
Well, you can.
Light fit, then what's the point? I might as well just wear a sweater.
Well, I mean, like, my jacket's not heavy.
Your jacket's huge.
It's
Yeah,
not
your
heavy,
jacket
though.
is
It's
heavy. Yes, it is.
extremely not.
Do you ever put on a coat and then you feel warm and then you get in the car, turn on the air, and then you start getting hot?
Yeah, because you're dumb and you put the seat warmer on. Like, you're not supposed to do that. That's counterproductive.
Why is it
What do you mean
dumb
you're not
to see
supposed to
warm?
do
You're
that?
in the car with a
You're
coat.
heating up the lower part of your back while you're wearing clothes and a jacket. You're gonna start sweating.
Well, and you're
It's
all
not gonna be fun.
restricted.
not
You're
good.
restricted behind the wheel. Your arms don't, I don't have
There's
the
no air.
springness.
There's no air circulating in the car.
It's called
Why aren't you
auto
wearing a
start.
jacket?
Auto
You should wear one
start.
tomorrow.
Auto
I'm
start.
concerned.
By the way, I'm going to owe Braylon Edwards an apology. I know, shocker. At first, I thought Braylon Edwards was the one that would put the Heat at 64. And I don't think it's Braylon Edwards that put it at 64 because I don't think it was at 64 when I
So
left.
you've just been
you
dogging
came-
on Braylon for like
came
3
after
months
Braylon.
now, and it wasn't even him?
No. I was dogging on him for the past 7 days. Secretly. And it turns out that I don't think it's him. So I don't know who else puts the air to 64. I don't think it's the Lady James people because they actually turned it off yesterday after they figured out Braylon Edwards turned it on. So
All
got-
I'm saying is, it's 18 degrees outside. It's snowing. If you have auto start and you have a seat warmer and there's heat working in
Yeah,
your
but
car,
there's like this precise time when you're in the car after you've started it and you've already started your drive. We're like 3-5 minutes in where you got to turn the seat warmer on.
science genius.
Yes. Or you're just gonna like get extremely hot for
Yeah.
no
I use
reason.
the
You're gonna be
steering wheel
sweating.
heater.
Oh, that's the best.
Oh, it is the best.
Oh my God, keep
no
your
gloves,
hands.
no nothing. It's
I
fine.
never drive with 2 hands unless it's the wintertime. It's the greatest thing in the world. It is my excuse not to walk out of the house with gloves. All right, what do we got this morning?
Well, guys, I think we might have said a few too many nice things about the Pistons earlier this week because they got absolutely blown out last night. Jeff, your initial thoughts on this game, please?
Well, watching the Pistons last night, obviously it's impossible to win a game in the NBA giving up 140. We know this. But last night, and Dwayne Casey put it best, it was kind of a wake-up call for these guys. They come off a big win in Milwaukee, beating the former champions, and you kind of have a little bit of a hangover, which you can't have, but you expect this team to have. And that's kind of been the summary all year for this team. You really don't know what you're getting from game to game. We've said this multiple times. Offensively, they're improving, but they've been bad, especially on the perimeter defensively all year. And you saw it last night, not having Isaiah Stewart out there. Even with Isaiah Stewart in the lineup, they lack size, and he wasn't in the lineup. They don't have Kelly Olynyk still. They got Trey Lyles playing minutes at center. Luke Garza has a way bigger role than he did a couple weeks ago. So I think it's a mix of a couple things. Obviously, the Hornets, different part right now as a team. They're 20-19, but they're trying to still make it to the playoffs. They have a good enough team for it. And you saw it last night. They're better than their record presents itself, and the Pistons ran into a very bad matchup. You saw Kelly Oubre in that fourth quarter, could not miss. It seemed like nobody on the Hornets could miss. I think they shot 57% on three-pointers on about, 42 attempts. It's hard to win a game when a team's that hot. And you could blame defensively, of course. They have to get better. Cade, like what I've saw out of him since he's been back with COVID, he looks like he's never missed a beat. You got guys like Sadiq Bey obviously taking a little bit of a step back, but if you have a 10-game streak of 20-plus points, you can have one game. That's bad. And he had a bad game last night. So that's really all I took from it. Yeah, you can't give up 140. I mean, they have to play better defensively. They're already ranked near bottom of the league in defense on the perimeter, and these games aren't helping. So whether that's, Killian Hayes, he had 3 steals last night, played good, didn't land double-digit points, but just didn't take a whole lot of shots. What was he, 3 for 5, 1 for 2 from 3? I mean, he just wasn't as aggressive, but he did have the highest plus-minus at all the starters. So, I mean, you're getting blown out. you just play everybody. So I'm not really taking a whole lot from it. Obviously, it's an 82-game season, but this can't be a trend, man. You can't give up 140, especially to the Hornets, a barely above 500 team. What happens when you face the Suns, the Bucks once again? It could get much, much uglier. So I think they'll get better. Once they get guys back, obviously Jeremy Grant's still out, and maybe that's for the better because Sadiq Bey's looked way better. Obviously,
Stay
aside
out.
from last game, you stay out like Guardian Alarm.
Stay out. Jeremy Grant.
Stay out, Novak Djokovic.
Fish, we'll get to that later. I am going to throw your country under the bus, and I'm going to set it to flames.
Go for it. Good luck. Try
All
to
right?
get to the border
We'll
force.
talk about it later. But for now, we're talking about Jeremy Grant. And I'm so glad he is still out.
Yeah.
Sadiq Bey has improved so much. But, guys, I don't want to take a one-game sample, especially a game where they were getting blown out.
Yeah.
But I do want to look at this and say, all right, what is something I've seen that's familiar that, I can latch onto and say, okay, that makes sense to me. Cade Cunningham, 16 points, 7 assists. Yeah, seems about right. Only 4 turnovers, not the worst. But what concerns me is 0 free throw attempts. That's odd. I haven't seen that since the beginning of the year. Oh, false alarm, maybe nothing too crazy, but
Yeah.
All right, didn't get to the free throw line last night. And really, the Pistons didn't at all. Only 20. 20 free throws last night.
Yep.
That's pretty bad. Killian Hayes gave you 24 minutes, 8, 4, and 1. 3 steals.
It's not.
We love him in the backcourt defensively,
Yeah.
but then there's the, what am I getting? But he was effective. 3 of 5 from the field, 1 of 2 from 3. He stayed in his lane, but he wasn't overly aggressive.
Yeah.
And I don't like seeing that hesitation from my young players.
Especially as a starting point guard.
I want them to be encouraged
Yeah.
to make the mistakes. Hell, if you told me over the next 10 games, Killian Hayes would average 8 to 10 turnovers a game. Absolutely horrible numbers. Okay? But he was taking 11, 12 shots a game, getting anywhere from 7 to 13 assists a game. In that 10-game stretch, all right, kid needs to limit the turnovers, but he's being more aggressive. He's trying to make plays. I'm okay with that. At that age, I'm okay with it. I'm not okay with it for my 32-year-old superstar point guard, but I am for my second-year developing point guard. I am. Diallo, it's just inconsistent.
Yeah.
All of it is. It's
It
not
all
just
is.
one player on this team outside of Cade and Sadiq Bey right now. It's just really inconsistent. And look, guys, if I could summarize the Detroit Pistons in a box score in terms of how consistent they are, it would be last night. First quarter, 19 points. They gave up 37. Second quarter, scored 32, gave up 28. Okay, I have something here. Third quarter, only scored 24 points while the other team scores 35.
Yeah, it's
So you've lost already 2 quarters by double digits. All right, fourth quarter. You put up 36 points. Oh, my goodness. If you told me before the fourth quarter started that the Pistons were going to score 36, I would say, well, if they play good defense, they could probably come back and win this game. Oh, they gave up 40. It's really inconsistent basketball right now. And I'm not even frustrated with that because, look, they're going to have a top 3 pick.
Yeah.
I have no issues with it. I know this team isn't ready to contend right now, especially given just how young they are. But, man, winning matters. It really does. Football, baseball, doesn't matter the sport. You do need to win. Learning how to win is part of the quote-unquote rebuild process.
yeah.
And when you're 7-29, it takes a toll, man. What are you waiting for? Now, I'm not saying the Pistons are going full 76ers mode. Don't get me wrong. But I would like to see a little bit more consistency, even with the Mavericks, even with the Hawks. Year 1, Trae Young, Luka Doncic. They weren't this bad. They understood how important it was to get their young star players in positions to close and win basketball games, even if they struggled. At least they were in the moment. It was an aspect of the game that they began to understand. Not getting that in Detroit right now, and maybe that's what you're getting next year. But Diallo, I don't want him to shy away when the lineup changes.
Yeah.
Yes, Kate's back. Okay, Killian Hayes. Okay, I got it, man. No. Show me what you've been doing. I don't want you to stop that. Now, is he a 20, 10, and 10 guy every night? No. No one wants him to be anyways. It's impossible.
Yeah.
But can he be a 13, 4, and 8? Yeah. And that would be a fantastic role player. And you would be up for 6th man of the year likely if you played that consistent every night.
Yeah.
That's what you want. So, yeah, it's tricky right now. They're going to lose a lot of games. But you want to see consistency at some point. But how can you? They're a young team.
Exactly.
And what do we always say about young teams? They play inconsistent.
They do. And watching that game last night, obviously, it told me, and I already knew this, but it's going to be a long season. And we know this. The focus should be surrounding this team, especially in the offseason. Troy Weaver, I mean, he's done a good job so far surrounding this team with more shooting. And shooting is important. That's the only way to win this league. You got to have shooting. And you need more guys who can create plays off the dribble, kind of alleviate some of that pressure off of Cade. Because, you're seeing Cade and Killian, those two are the only guys who can really create shots. You got Hamidou Diallo, Sadiq Bey, those guys can create off the dribble, but you need more on this team. So a lot of holes, but what else did you expect? I mean, are you sitting here surprised? We'll see. We'll see if they get better, hopefully.
Well, guys, another team we're hoping gets better is the Lions. We've talked a lot about the draft here lately, but is there concerns about the Lions being at the top of the draft board? We'll talk about that when we come back, but first, let's hear about the Folding Warehouse.
All right, guys, the Folding Warehouse, such a fun atmosphere, such a fun place to be. Home of the bowling pin game, well, folding. Throw a football at bowling pins does require skill. Now, if you're Braylon Edwards and Ryan Armani, you cheated your way to the top. You had a first-round bye week. None of the actual staff that were athletic were there. All right, COVID issues. We had our own COVID issues. Look, you guys cheated your way to the top. We know you spreaded it on your own.
You spreaded it.
We know we saw what you did all on video camera. We have video evidence.
Spreaded it.
I don't Fish, shut the hell up. I'm working here.
Mention Chris and Noni Hut.
Guys, the Folding Warehouse in Hamtramck. Ryan and Braylon are cheaters. I don't care if it's true or not. I'm just going to say it. But check them out. There's a $2 Mystic beer machine. It's the funniest thing. Sawyer loves it because he never knows what he's going to get. Feels like a kid. It's like from that Forrest Gump movie.
Yeah.
Life's like a box of chocolates.
That's Sawyer.
You know?
Life's like a machine of beers.
So check out the Mystic beer machine. You can cater your own food, bring in your own food. If you're Alex and you're high maintenance, you can get Uber Eats. You can order like a $300 steak there, because Alex is, way beyond us. But guys, check it out. Folding Warehouse in Hamtramck. Visit foldingwarehouse.com.
Fellas, football season is here. It's time to make your grooming experience easy like Sunday morning. Get to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk in, relax, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Get to Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Welcome back, and thanks for tuning in to the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Also featured on The Roar on 99.1, 93.5, and 94.7 HD2. Guys, we're talking about the draft. Are we concerned about where we are now?
It's hard to be.
Kill me. Kill me. This is what I do for a living now. Unbelievable. We're complaining about the top of the draft board and, this isn't the year. No, it's just not the year for a quarterback.
Yeah.
That's all.
Which we knew this.
There's some good players at the top of the board. Whether you're picking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hell, even 8. Life and the NFL are as simple as this. You make a good decision, good things happen. Oh my God, what a shocker. Micah Parsons was taken at 11.
Mm-hmm.
Patrick Surtain, 10.
Lamar Jackson,
quality players.
Yeah.
TJ Watt, 30th.
Yep.
Aaron Donald, 13th. Life is not hard when you make good decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Do you really care whether the Lions are picking 2 or 10 right now? Given that the GM has proven he can really evaluate talent. One person in the room cares, and I want to throw my coffee at him. But I can't because there's a window protecting him. Having said that, unbelievable. We're so caught up in draft and where we're drafting and who we may be drafting. Guys, the options are endless. And the fact that you ended up with the number 2 pick, you have a lot of options. You can trade back and still walk away with an all-pro talented player. You don't have to select at number 2. You don't have to. You have options. Brad Holmes has options. This is a really good situation for you. And if you want to say, oh, well, it's a weak draft, even better. Trade back to the teams that believe strongly about those players that you don't believe strongly about. And you will be able to acquire significant draft capital. Now, am I saying picking number 2 is not more valuable than picking number 10? No. It is, obviously. Especially when you leverage it. Especially in a normal year where there's an abundance of not only talent, but quarterbacks. And, you know, I heard people yesterday making really bad arguments. Well, how does Jamar Chase fall to 5? Kyle Pitts at 4. 3 quarterbacks were taken first. So, yeah, guys, in a normal draft where there's not that many quarterbacks taken in the top 15, Penei Sewell, Jamar Chase, Kyle Pitts, they go top 3, top 4. Any other year. But yet last year was such a quarterback-heavy draft that all the quote-unquote talented players, Micah Parsons, Patrick Surtain, Penei Sewell, Jamar Chase, they all went out of the top 4. Why? Because there are quarterbacks available. And when there are quarterbacks available, teams go all in. And they miss a lot, but you have to go all in on quarterbacks. You have to be ready to make that decision. So yeah, I'm not too worried. If you want to trade back from number 2 to number 8 or number 10, and hell, take Nakobe Dean at 10 or number 8, I'm on board. You have options at number 2. I have no problem with this at all. Oh, they lost out on the number 1 pick. Shut the hell up. Well, who are you going to take, buddy? Huh? Kenny Pickett? No, you're not. Oh, Thibodeau, Hutchinson. Does it really matter? You are going to pick 4 players within the first, I believe, 48 or 50 selections that are going to be able to start on your football team next year, if you do it right. You got the GM right now, or at least we believe you do. There is confidence in the GM. There should be confidence that no matter where you're picking, the right decisions will be made. And again, the higher draft position you have, the better. No one can dispute that. That is a fact. You want to be picking higher. That way you're not having to move up in the draft for a player you may want to go for. Having said that, when you're picking higher, you can also trade back. So yeah, excuse me. It's not a draft. It's not a top of the board heavy draft. I'm not sure what the Lions could make a mistake at. Shut the hell up. Every team makes mistakes.
Yeah.
Every team makes mistakes. And all of you are hindsight people. I'm telling you right now, if you're picking between 1 and 8, you are getting a potential all-pro player. You just are. There are so many available, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Especially on the defensive side of the ball. So yeah, excuse me. I'm not going to sit up here and cry. Whether or not they pick 2 or 8, it doesn't matter to me. It's a good draft class. I'm not going to complain about the draft class. You want to make the argument there's no quarterbacks? Sure, I'll entertain that.
Yeah.
But you know what? If this quarterback class was in last year's class, you would not have Penei Sewell. You would not have Micah Parsons. You would not have Jamar Chase. You would not have any of these guys available to you at number 7. So yeah, draft position does matter. It does. Well, how did we get Penei Sewell? Do I have to explain it again? 1 picked a quarterback, 2 picked a quarterback, 3 picked a quarterback, 4 took the generational tight end, 5 took the connection from LSU, 6 took a chance on Waddle because they needed to see if Tua could play.
Yeah.
That's why Penei Sewell fell to you. Because 3 quarterbacks were taken, and 3 teams really needed to make a decision on their future. There you go. Common sense. This year, not so easy. Not so straightforward. So yeah, you're picking that too. You can take one of the edge rushers. You are guaranteed one of the edge rushers. The premier ones that are coming out. You are guaranteed one of them. You don't have to take them. You can always trade back, Jeff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with the draft board. And to all you dummies that want to sit up here and say, well, draft position doesn't matter, it does. Your brain just doesn't allow you to think past, well, it didn't work last year. Well, we picked Eric Ebron over Donald, so it's not weird. No, genius, of course. TJ Watt went 30.
You need the right man making decisions.
When you have the right guy making the decisions, you want higher draft position. Why? Because he can leverage it, whether it's getting an all-pro stud player, or he's trading back. Excuse me, I want the most options from my GM as possible.
Right.
And as if your football team was even capable of winning that kind of winning that amount of games to even put you in a position like this. Drives me nuts. People are dumb, Maddie. They're dumb. And I think they all originate from one certain country that I will not talk about until later.
Ooh-wee.
So yeah, Jeff, that's how I feel about this.
No, and I agree with you 100%. I think the number one thing, and people like to reflect back on last year, we took Amon-Ra St. Brown in the 4th round, 112 overall. Now think about it. Where is he ranked among PFF, among other rookie wide receivers? 4th round pick. He's still, rookie year, comparable to Devontae Smith, taken 10th overall to Philly. You can find these guys if you have the right guy in place. Brad Holmes can do that. You've shown that. All 7 rounds made an impact this year. So I'm not worried about where we select in the draft. The good news is you're guaranteed one of 2 great players, unless you want to trade back, which I wouldn't even fault him for doing so. Because I don't agree with what people are saying. This draft isn't that deep. Honestly, the argument could be it's a deep draft. We just don't know yet. There's no quarterbacks. That's an argument. And there's no Trevor Lawrence. There's no Joe Burrow. That would certainly help jumpstart this rebuild. But the argument saying this draft class isn't deep, I think that's easy to write off this draft class. I think there's talent available. Brad Holmes is going to be able to find it. He has 2 first-round picks. There's tons of options on the table. And people saying this is not the year to have a first-round pick, shut up. Like, when is the year then? I mean, you can't. You want to select the years you suck? I mean, you can't do that, unfortunately. Last year, yes, you want to. The
last draft I can recall where the first round was an actual bust, all of it, outside of 2, 3 picks, was Matthew Stafford's draft class.
Yeah, that was a pretty bad one.
That was a horrible draft class.
Yeah.
There was nothing outside of maybe 1 Pro Bowler or 2 in the first round. Mm-hmm. It was awful. But that was how many years ago? 12, 13, 14, 15 years ago? Every single draft class since, there are players in the first round that you take. TJ Watt went 30th. Aaron Donald, 13. Stop. There are players available. Guys, Jamison Williams out of wide receiver. It's a deep wide receiving class. Jamison Williams, Chris Olave, Rondo Bell, Jahan Dotson, Drake London. Wide receivers are stacked.
Yep.
You've got the edge rushers out of Oregon and Michigan. You got Kyle Hamilton, Stingley. There are good players.
Yeah.
Did I forget Nakobe Dean, who I am so angry with because he just shot up his draft stock? Why? We wanted you. This could have been special. God damn it. I hate good players. So maybe you end up with Devin Lloyd, though. Devin Lloyd's not a bad player. I like him. Maybe not as much as I like Nakobe Dean, but I would have no problem taking Devin Lloyd with that second first-round pick.
I'd agree with you.
Jordan Battle, the safety out of Bama. Guys, there are good players in the first round. Stop crying about it.
Maybe not those marquee names, but still, they're big names.
And even the marquee names.
Yeah.
Are they going to pan out? You always ask this. And it's so easy to be right after the fact. But how about you actually take the time to really look at this and say, you know what? Maybe it's not the quote-unquote sexy draft that gets you the star player on the offensive side of the ball outside of wide receiver. But maybe, just maybe, this is the year where you see 5, 6, 7, 8 Pro Bowlers in the first round come out defensively. Where you see 2, 3 Pro Bowl linemen come out.
Mm-hmm.
And if I do the math correctly, you can achieve getting 2 of them in the top 15 if you move up.
Right.
Or they fall to you. Who knows? Teams make mistakes. And the great teams make good decisions more than they make mistakes.
Yeah.
That's the history of the Detroit Lions. Mm-hmm. Haven't drafted a second-round player for how long now? How many misses in the first round? How many misses in every other round? Mm-hmm. It's always been miss, Barry Sanders. Miss, Calvin Johnson. Miss, Matthew Stafford. Miss, Ndamukong Suh. Miss the hell. My life is gone. I'm dead.
The picks we didn't miss, it seemed like they were clear cut, pretty much. Like you had Calvin, Matt, Sue. Like
Calvin, you know why you got Calvin? Jamarcus Russell. God bless you, Oakland.
Thank you.
Now
Thank you,
Vegas.
Oakland. Thank you, Oakland.
So, yes. And honestly, guys, I'm a big Ajabo fan. I really am. I like his talent. I'm not touching him in the first round with the intentions I have of what I'm getting in the first round.
Yeah.
I'm taking Devin Lloyd and Nakobe Dean before I even consider Ajabo. And I think you all agree with that. But one's an outside linebacker. The other two are
more complete
inside middle linebackers, sideline to sideline. Ajabo doesn't give me sideline to sideline. He's basically a speed rusher. Mm-hmm. What the hell am I doing with the second overall pick? So I don't even consider Ajabo. And honestly, it makes me nervous. I'm not sure how he translates. I would have liked him another year at Michigan. Yeah. But you know what? He's the number 1 rated outside linebacker according to the draft boards right now.
Shoot your shot.
Yeah, no, he's going to go. He'll be a good player. But for me, if I'm the Lions, I don't see why I would ever take him. I need a guy in the middle, Jeff, sideline to sideline.
100%. I agree with you. I know we have this discussion quickly just towards the end of this. We know the second overall pick is probably going to be an edge rusher. We know this, unless they trade back.
I hope they trade back.
And which would be a smart. We'd be both on that bandwagon. What would you see this second first-round pick then? You already said you'd take a linebacker.
It's got to be Devin Lloyd.
It's got to be a linebacker, or you think wide receiver?
Nakobe Dean's not going to be up there. Would love to see them trade up to get him if he's available at maybe 12, 13, which I totally doubt.
Yeah.
He's going to be a top 10 player. But my point is, if you can snag a Devin Lloyd, I would consider Jordan Battle at 27, 28.
Yep.
If you're picking at 24, there's going to be a little more options available. So, yeah, look, Gardner out of Cincinnati. I don't mind taking a corner. Mm-hmm. Are you moving Okudah to safety? So many questions that they're not going to publicly say yet, right? So you don't even know where Okudah's going to be. Can he be a corner? Can he go to safety and, really shine? I hope so. Nobody, as much as I dog on Okudah, nobody wants him to be successful as much as I do. But I know he's not the number 3 overall pick. That's why he'll never be where he was taken, and that's an unfortunate knock on him, but we do got to go to break. We can continue this shortly after.
Yeah.
A lot of people are obsessed with the Nakobe Dean, Devin Lloyd conversation, so I don't mind it.
Well, we'll come back to that. But stay tuned here on the Woodward Sports Network. When we come back, we're talking about the NFC playoff implications. But first, MyBookie.
All right, guys, MyBookie is the place to bet. Now, if you want to make a bet that the Lions trade the number 2 overall pick, well, damn it, you can do it on MyBookie. Bet from anywhere, anytime using MyBookie. Now, if you're Fish and you don't gamble, I encourage you to sign up today. Why, Fish? You should be signing up to MyBookie using code Woodward because they're going to give you a $1 for $1 match, buddy. Hell, I'll give you $100 to put in. I want you to start going down this path. And you can start betting on Australia being the worst country in the history of the world. But, it's a whole different conversation. But back to the point, guys. MyBookie's where it's at. Sign up today using code Woodward. $1 for $1 match. Start the new year winning some money. And if you do have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-270-7117.
Hi, I'm Kay Cunningham. I'm proud to partner with Hall Financial, the mortgage company known for 5-star service. Don't just take my word for it. Check out their 5,000 5-star reviews for yourself. Go to callhallfirst.com and get started with your 5-star experience today.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Woodward Sports. Missed part of the show today? Watch again on YouTube or download the podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Welcome back. Thanks for tuning here on the Woodward Morning Show on the Woodward Sports Network. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and Twitch. Download the Woodward Sports app on Apple and Google Play. And make sure you download a podcast wherever you listen to, whether it's on Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts, or Apple Music. Guys, we're talking about the playoffs. in the NFC. How can Week 18 still shape these playoffs?
Wow. I mean, so many factors this weekend. I'm so excited. You have the Rams playing the Niners. Both teams technically control their own destiny. Niners win, they're in. If they lose, they're going to need another team to lose. That other team being the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah.
And if the Rams lose, they need the Cardinals to win the Cardinals to lose so they can clinch the division. So my goodness. It's going to be a jam-packed weekend. If the Colts lose on the 1 o'clock slate to the Jaguars, that means the Raiders. The Raiders, and I can't believe this. I really can't. The Raiders and the Chargers could tie and both get in, given a Colts loss.
Yeah.
And the Colts have not won in Jacksonville in 7 years. How funny is that?
It's just one of those crazy stats you look at, and you're like, what?
But you know, I heard some people talking about this, and I got to say, I typically am willing to be reasonable, listen to what people have to say, and be like, all right, I may not agree, but you know what? I get the point they're trying to make.
Yeah.
When you go out and say that you would make the phone call, given that the Colts lose, Raiders, Chargers, that you would be willing to mail it in and tie.
Oh, my God.
To me is so irresponsible first.
Yeah.
It shoots at the integrity of the game.
Yeah, it would never happen. I don't think.
It would never be allowed to happen.
No.
If it did happen, I would expect both teams to receive losses.
Yeah.
And be eliminated from the playoffs and just bump up the other two teams that are not in.
It would be obvious too. Like if they know
you
they have to
can't tie, not
and
obviously.
they tie. Yeah, it's like
I'm sorry, but I'm not even worried about that. What I'm
No.
talking about is people saying that they should do it, and that they would do it if they were running a team or they were coaching a team.
the same Madden.
And that's just so irresponsible.
Yeah, it is.
You really think you're gonna get away with costing other teams their playoff spot because you decided to tie so you both can get in? Do you actually think that's a possibility? Look, I get it. NFL season coming to an end. Slow season right now in terms of news. Got to make some headlines. I get it. That's what we went for. You're going to absolutely crush the integrity of the game. And not only is it happening, and not only is it match fixing, it's match fixing between the teams. It's not even an officiating crew, a sports shark, a betting shark who came in and offered a significant amount of money to a player. No. The teams decided they weren't going to play hard so they can both get into the playoffs. You tell me how that makes sense. If I was a commissioner and that happened, I would call mid-game and say, if you two don't start going at it and trying to win this football game, you both will be eliminated from the playoffs.
100%.
I refuse to even entertain any thought that would disrupt or absolutely go against the integrity of the game. It is competition. Oh, the Raiders and Chargers the Raiders and Chargers are playing. One of them needs a playoff spot. Okay. One of you get it. You're not tying. And I hope the Colts win so they just eliminate all this. But the point is, you don't go against the integrity of the game. Rams, Niners. Now, let's say the 1 o'clock slate was the Cardinals. And they knew that the Cardinals lost. Should the Rams go out and say, you know what, Kyle Shanahan, we like you. You can win this game. We'll let you win it. Is that fair? Does that make sense to anybody?
0 cents.
You don't do this kind of stuff. So, yeah, I'm not comfortable with it.
And I think more importantly, too, like people like to, for fans' perspectives, hey, tie the game, both go to the playoffs. Look at it from a player's perspective. And these are grown men. And you're getting told, listen, if we win this game, you're going to the playoffs, obviously, given the Colts lose. But if the other team wins, they're going to the playoffs. It's us versus them. There's never a, hey, come to the middle of the field. You guys want to tie this game? We'll both go to the No, I think it's players look at it differently, I think. And although it would be horrible to the integrity of the game, especially, and fans like to make up these scenarios. You can't tie a game on
purpose. You know how obvious it is?
What are you just throwing incompletions on purpose?
What, you're both going to look like garbage?
Yeah.
And then, when overtime does come, oh, your kicker missed a 37-yard chip shot? What?
Only the Lions and Steelers can tie, all right? This ain't everyone gets one, all right? You got to be a certain type of breed.
I don't get it. And I don't get how we would encourage it.
No.
Guys, if you think the NFL fixes games at this point, like from the league top down, I don't know what to tell you.
This ain't the 2000 NBA. Like
the same people that think the earth is flat, I swear to God, drives me nuts. Doesn't matter what evidence you give them. Now, has there been a history of match fixing with officiating crews, individual players, coaching staff? Absolutely. We are not talking about the league calling in and saying, hey, Indianapolis, you need to lose today. Tom Brady needs to get to the Super Bowl. Really? Really? Why don't we use our brains anymore? Why? What's so hard about it?
I know why.
Yeah, because half of these people are born in Australia, Fish. That's why.
Fish, you caught a stray
Tie
right there.
talks. Unbelievable.
Oh, I wanted it.
Hey, coach. Listen, I know you've got bonuses in your contract, and your players do as well about making the playoffs. So do we. Listen, Indianapolis lost today. Let's just call it even. What do you think? We'll get out our starters. We'll let them put together good drives. We'll let them get some momentum. And towards the end of the game, we'll sit everybody. And we'll go for the tie. We'll run kneels. We'll run the ball. We won't do anything crazy. What do you think about that, coach? Oh, yeah, sounds like a great plan. Yeah. Yeah, I'll convince my players, not to try. Yeah, that makes sense. We're unbelievable. If we think that's even a possibility.
No, I know.
What if the... Unbelievable. I can't fathom how we actually think, or how any of you actually in that situation would even agree to that. Would you?
Yeah.
As a fan, if the Lions were playing in the final game of the year, and you knew you had to win the game to get in, but if another team lost and you drew, you both got in, you think you would actually be sitting there like, oh, we should tie?
No, let's eliminate them. That's what
it's not even that. It's like, do you actually think that's a possibility? What drives me nuts about this conversation is how far out of depth it is.
Yeah.
In the realm of possibility. It would never happen. It would and could never happen.
No.
You would absolutely lose immediate integrity. Nobody would respect the game. Everyone would start questioning stuff. Why did the Ravens not, why would they false start on 3rd and goal from the 4? I can go back to that. That was a dumb play. Gave Stafford an opportunity to go down and win the game.
Yep.
Guys, you never bring the game into doubt. Now, have officials made mistakes? Yeah, that's different. Officials making mistakes in games is different than two teams agreeing to not play and tie so they both make the playoffs. Mistakes, as blatant as they may be, like the Stafford pass interference to Pettigrew, as blatant as it may seem, mistakes happen.
Yeah.
You think the league office called into the officiating crew and said, hey, Dallas, hey, Rob, Dallas has to go in. Ratings are too important.
No, this ain't Tim Donaghy.
Pick up the flag. Pick up the flag, Jim. All right, we already called it, but yeah, we'll take it back. It's fine. All right, cool, thanks. You think that's what they're doing? Really? You must think Michael Jackson is still alive. Or Elvis Presley is still alive. I swear, you guys drive me nuts. Let me guess. Tupac lives in Canada?
Oh, Canada.
Unbelievable. Maybe he went to Australia because there's no guns there. Goddamn people, man. Unbelievable. I can't wait to rip Australia. A new one today. I'm so excited for this.
I am too.
We've got 4 minutes. We've got
job.
4 minutes before we got to go to break. So I do want to pick back up on our draft conversation. Guys, if I told you Thibodeau and Hutchinson were available, but you could have any player you wanted from 5 to 8, would you be willing to trade back and pass on the 2 edge rushers? I would like to know. I'm asking you in the chat. If you want to call in, 313-552-6322. I am extremely curious. Would you be willing to pass on both edge rushers if it meant you could trade back and get the player you wanted, Stingley, Hamilton, Nakobe Dean, and you acquired an abundance of draft picks? Wouldn't you do that trade? I'm asking, and I would like to know. Apparently, Tupac lives in Jamaica now. Would you take Evan Neal? Why would you? You have Penei Sewell, you have Taylor Decker, and it doesn't seem like Decker's going anywhere. So what exactly are we doing with that? I don't agree with that. So yes, you would trade back, realistically, if somebody gave you a good haul. And again, not only are you receiving draft capital, guys, you are saving money on the player that you're drafting.
Yeah.
The money at 1 is different than the money at 32 and et cetera, and on and on and on and on and on. Just like the money is different from 1 to 8, 1 to 5, 1 to 6. Hell, even 1 to 4, it's a big difference in money.
Mm-hmm.
Guaranteed money, bonus money, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, I think we all agree we're not locked into 2. And there's no other year, especially with Brad Holmes, that I would be more excited to trade back in. Because I'm telling you guys, it's a deep draft in terms of talent.
Yeah.
Talent's there, guys. The talent is there. And if you could sneak another first-round pick out of this, or even a second-rounder, and trade back 2-3 slots, damn it, you consider it. Unless you are completely sold on the fact that one of the 2 edge rushers are going to be a elite 12, 13 sack a year guy. If they're not, hey, trade back. Go fill another position in need. There's edge rushers available in the 2nd and 3rd round. Not the end of the world. Jeff, you trade him back?
I think it depends. Honestly, yes, I would say that, because assuming you get a lot for your 2nd overall pick. So from the standpoint of what I like, one of the 2 best players in the draft, yes. But the draft's so deep, and I would agree with you. If you could trade down to 5 and still take a guy like Kyle Hamilton, or 6, and still take a guy like Kyle Hamilton, not sure he'll be there, or even trade a little bit further back and take Nakobe Dean, and you still have more assets, maybe another 2nd or 3rd round. I'm okay with it, because I know who's selecting the picks.
Yeah,
that's what's key.
Yeah, Steven, you're right on the money in terms of where Hamilton and Nakobe Dean go. But yeah, AC, look, just because I want to trade Taylor Decker doesn't mean that will happen.
Yeah.
So right now, drafting Evan Neal doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't. You have 2 tackles. The talent is there, guys. The talent is there. So whether you're picking at 2 or 4, it doesn't matter. Maddy?
I don't think so. I don't think it matters. Anyways, we're talking about the Lions. We're going to talk about Jared Goff's first season in Detroit here when we come back. But first, Jeff, can you tell us about Guardian Alarm, please?
Yeah, we talk about all these defensive players in this upcoming draft and how reliable they might be. Well, Guardian Alarm, they get it. They're always reliable. Guardian Alarm, good defense on and off the field, helps you feel secure. Guardian Alarm has state-of-the-art technology that helps you feel safe, all with 24/7 local monitoring. Guardian Alarm also has convenient features that let you check in on your home, control lights or temperatures, and even detect smoke or carbon monoxide. It will even let you lock and unlock doors. Call 800 Stay Out today. You hear fish. Call 800 Stay Out. Guardian Alarm has been trusted for over 90 years at keeping families safe.
I'm Kay Cunningham. Working with Hall Financial to purchase my first home was easier than I could have ever imagined. They treated me like family from start to finish. Find out for yourself at callhallfirst.com.
Detroit Sports for Detroit sports fans. Woodward Sports is live now.
Welcome back to the Woodward Morning Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Guys, this is a topic that a lot of people have different opinions on. It's a strongly opinionated thing. Jared Goff, what do we think of his first year?
Jared Goff, my good friend. Best friends with the guy. It's a tale of 2 halves, really. Beginning of the year, struggled, a lot of turnovers, and towards the end of the year, wasn't really making many, but was still turning the ball over. But hey, you know what? He played a lot better. Passer rating was over 100 towards the tail end of the year. When we say evaluating Jared Goff, if I'm just taking this season into consideration, he wasn't awful. He was average. He was awful in the beginning, good at the end, balances out to average. Now, do I want him as the future quarterback of my franchise? Absolutely not. But he will be here for the next year. And maybe even the year after that and the year after that. Next year, the results on the field will tell you where Jared Goff is.
Yeah.
If you win 6, 7, 8 games, I see them sticking with him. I absolutely see it, and then them taking a quarterback middle of the first round and sitting him for a year. Or maybe they are just all in invested on Jared Goff. But for me, he had an okay season. He was average. Nothing special. Never any moment of brilliance. Shut up. He won you 2 games. He won you 2 games. Like, we forget this. Oh, well, Adham was a bad roster. Guys, when are we just going to accept in the NFL, a bad roster can become a very good roster overnight? When you have the right coaching and you get the quarterback to play at a better level than what he is. I hate to use this example because it's at such a different standard, and I don't think Lions fans could ever comprehend what a playoff win and making a run would ever sound or look like. But the Niners had 8 losing seasons prior to Jim Harbaugh showing up in San Francisco. 3 straight NFC title games. Or I believe 3 and 4 years. It was one of the 2.
Yeah.
But regardless, it does happen overnight in the NFL when you make good decisions. Brad Holmes, he's made nothing but good decisions. Now, year 2, quarterback play's got to be better. Coaching needs to be better. The talent will be there. You trust Brad Holmes. So, yeah, next year is going to be a winning season in terms of you're going to win 5, 6, 7, hell, maybe even 8 football games next year. It is very possible. And if you don't, you're going to be questioning the quarterback and the head coach. Not the GM, because you guys see the talent. And that's kind of the rabbit in the hat that Brad Holmes has.
Yep.
If he continues to hit the draft, but the team is not winning any games, you have a problem with your coaching staff and the quarterback. Those are the first 2 you look at. So, yeah, Jared Goff, average season. Nothing special. Have no issue with it. You have to deal with him. $30 million on the books next year. Mm-hmm. You have to deal with him. You hope he plays much better than he did in the beginning of the season. You hope he takes the last 4 or 5 games and gives you that all next year. But that's very unrealistic. So I have to wait and see. But for me, Goff this year, average. In the future, I don't care. He's not the guy for me.
And that's the key part. What did we say before the season? He's average. What are we saying now? He's average. Nothing's changed with Jared Goff. Now, would you have liked him to get you a couple more wins? Of course, 2 wins on the season. But if you look at his season compared to last season, he's missed a couple games this year due to COVID, due to his knee injury, other things. 17 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. He has the same quarterback rating, completion percentage, most as last year for the Rams when he threw 20 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. He's probably on pace to do something similar of that. So he is what he is. Now, I think personally, to his credit, I think given his circumstances and given the cards he was dealt, he could have been much worse, in my opinion. Much, much worse. Especially early in the season, he did play bad, but especially late, he started picking up a little bit more. Ben Johnson started mixing up in the passing play, so led to some of his success. Not saying he's a world beater. I mean, none of us are saying that, but he's a middle-of-the-pack quarterback, and we've always known him to be that. So if everything's going right, he can game manage, but a lot of the time it was not going right this year for the Lions. So it really is. It's a tale of that, and I think this city especially is so used to Matthew Stafford that when we have another quarterback like Jared Goff, that you kind of start to, maybe take him for granted, with Matthew Stafford, and we start to hold these high expectations on the guy. And I'm not surprised by anything I've seen year 1 from Jared Goff. He is what he is. He's still on this team next year. I think next year is a more fair year to evaluate him and see where he progresses, especially when you get a true offensive coordinator all year. You don't have Anthony Lynn, you don't have Ben Johnson, you don't have Dan Campbell calling plays. It's all over the place. So given 1 more year, but this year, I mean, what were you expecting? I mean, honestly, is anybody surprised? I don't think anybody's surprised by what we've seen out of Jared Goff this year. I mean, maybe give him a little credit considering what's around him, but once this team, has TJ Hawkinson back more consistently, he gets back healthy, you add more talent on the outside, I think the statistics may improve, but at the end of the day, he'll always be what he is. And Jared Goff is a middle-of-the-pack quarterback who, if you have everything going well, and there's guys like this in the NFL, you have your Dak Prescott's, obviously more talented, but Baker Mayfield's. If everything's going right, he can win you ball games. But especially this year for the Detroit Lions, not a lot of things are going right. So he was put in a bad situation. We'll see next year, though. I think that's a more fair year to evaluate him, but opinion ain't going to change. It's not like he's going to wow me next year. So
what are your expectations for him next year?
Next year, you got to get at least 6-7 wins. Man, you can't go back and progress maybe a win or two this year to next year. You have to get 7 wins, and you got to look competent statistically. And I think he did a good job this year. 17 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Next year, if you can get somewhere in the 20s touchdowns and maybe limit your interceptions to low double digits, maybe 10, 11, that's a good year for him. I think, and that'll sell him to his next team. But you can't regress next year. That's absolutely not.
Braylon in the chat. Adam, I love you. But don't compare the San Francisco Niners of 2011 to the 2020 Lions. Braylon, I wasn't. The point I'm making, Braylon, and Braylon will know this more than anyone, is that in the NFL, you turn it around like this.
With the right
You get the
decisions.
right coach, right quarterback. You get the quarterback playing at a good level, and the team is full of talent. You win right away. Harbaugh came in, 3 straight NFC Championship games, 1 Super Bowl appearance. And in the 8 years prior, that organization was a dumpster fire. And they had 0 winning seasons in those 8 years. He comes in, runs the league in 4 years. His first 3 all NFC title games. Now, he's a great coach. Now, he did inherit Navarro Bowman, Patrick Willis. Absolutely. But he also presented us Colin Kaepernick, who at the time is cavalier, I could argue. It was a very cavalier move. Mm-hmm. It was a nomadic move, really. It was something you really didn't see. It was something like, all right, they're doing it, but no one else wants to do it. And then he runs for almost 200 yards against the Packers in the playoffs. No. Guys. And Braylon, that's the point, is they drafted good players. But what happens when a good coach walks in the door with good talent, and then that first draft they hit? They become great. You've seen with the Lions, the first draft, I could argue they've hit on 2, maybe even 3 really good players. Oh yeah, but the talent on the Lions wasn't that of the Niners. But the point, again, at the end all be all, is when you've got the coach, you've got a quarterback, and the talent is even at a good level, not even great, just good, and you hit on 1 draft, you're instant contenders. And that's what they did in San Francisco. Timing, things had to work out a certain way. I get it. But it was the decision by Jim Harbaugh. And it was kind of like, a silver lining. Alex Smith needed to get hurt. And in comes this young kid who, again, nobody really had expectations for. And he lights it up. And what does Harbaugh do? He sticks with him. And he sends Alex Smith to Kansas City. And they go on a nice 2-3 year run.
Like, that's interesting. Braylon said Harbaugh hated Cap, but the owner and GM loved him. Jim tried to put Alex back in the Super Bowl year, but the owner threatened to fire him.
Look, that's
Braylon
interesting.
was on that team. He was on that roster, so
that's interesting. But you know what? At the end of the day, that's how the NFL works. That's how the NFL works.
Yeah. I think the premise of your point makes sense still.
The only point I'm making.
It's not about the 49ers necessarily.
It's not necessarily about the 49ers. It's in general, in the NFL, and they're a good example.
Yeah.
Patrick Willis and Navarro Bowman. Okay, I could argue that going into this season, you had T.J. Hawkinson, DeAndre Swift, Taylor Decker, and Frank Ragnow. Mm-hmm. That was your core. Go have a good draft. You can turn it around. Like, we make excuses when teams don't succeed because of, the talent gap. But I just told you that you had a good core to build on. You brought in an average to good quarterback. You brought in a rookie head coach. And your GM did a damn good job in the first draft. You're not a 2-win team. You're not. But you are in reality. It's funny. I just find it funny how different we think. Now, am I saying they should be Super Bowl contenders next year? No. Coach isn't at that level. Quarterback's not at that level. It's out of the realm of possibility. But, again, in the NFL, you hit back-to-back drafts. you are going to have a damn good team. And Brad Holmes is on the cusp of doing that.
Yep, he's proven it.
He proved it in the first draft.
Yeah, in one draft.
He's got the second draft. I don't want to hear it because I'm going to talk about it all off season. Lions are going to field a talented roster next year. And I think they're going to surprise some teams. Now, is that going to translate to wins and losses? It's going to depend on the quarterback play and the head coach. But don't be surprised if this team has 8, 9, 10, 11 players. And you're just looking at them like, holy crap, those are good players.
Mm-hmm.
Those are really good players. You already have 4, 5, or 6. You get one back from injury. You get another one back from injury with an Achilles injury. You move him to safety. Maybe he turns out pretty decent. And then you have 4 picks in the first 2 rounds where you can draft starters. No Lions. You're not that far off. Hit the draft. Get the quarterback and the coach right. You will be successful.
Yep.
What have the Lions never done? Gotten the quarterback and the coach right at the same time. Never gotten both of them right and then the GM right at the same time. It's never been a home run across the board. The Niners, bulky. Harbaugh, quarterback situation. Check, check, check. Great defense. It was never that. You've never had that. You have an opportunity to build that here. So, yeah. Sorry I went on a little rant. Braylon, I love you, buddy.
Oh, it's a great conversation. It is. Especially clearing some things up, but...
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Whether Harbaugh wanted him or not is beyond me. I don't care.
Yeah.
It's irrelevant. In the NFL, Bill Belichick took 1 year off. Talent came in. Here they are, 10-win team. Alex Mayer, I am going to end you during the break.
I love Alex.
Well, guys, speaking of the Lions, we do have our last home game of the season, last game of the season this weekend. On Sunday, make sure you join us live at Tin Roof in Detroit for our pregame show from 11 to 1. If you join us live or you follow us on Twitter, you may have a chance at winning front row tickets from Woodward Sports. And don't forget, we'll always be at the Brass Rail in Detroit for our post-game show.
Poppin' champagne.
We'll be there with DJ's drinks and Woodward VIP section with food and more. So make sure to stop by if you're around. But before we go, guys, you've heard a lot of talk about Australia. We'll tell you why when we come back. But first, let's hear about Gypsy Vodka.
All right, guys, Gypsy Vodka. By the end of this segment about Australia, I may need to down an entire bottle.
Well, I have a bottle in the back.
I have a bottle right here. I am not in the mood for it, but I'm always in the mood for Gypsy Vodka. Smooth tasting, awesome tasting vodka. Guys, listen, guys, you've all taken shots. You know what it feels like to take a shot and that burning sensation down your throat. Gypsy Vodka, again, much smoother, easier to consume. It's a great drink to mix with cranberry juice. I don't know what you like, but hey,
okay.
you can do it. I'm a fan, especially on New Year's Eve. But we don't need to talk about that.
Yeah, you brought it up. That's your fault.
But regardless, guys, great tasting vodka. Love it. Try it. And as always, please do drink responsibly.
Okay, you thirsty little spin goblins. I want you to pedal into the next dimension. Spin it! Spin! Spin! Uh-oh! Carmen's falling behind. Let's give her the hiss of shame. Spin! Spin! Spin till you bleed!
Don't ride the bike of shame. Come to Planet Fitness and find your own lane with tons of equipment, free fitness training, and no hissing. Join today for just $10 a month.
Woodward Sports. Missed part of the show today? Watch again on YouTube or download the podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Welcome back here on the Woodward Morning Show on the Woodward Sports Network. Also featured on The Roar on 99.1, 93.5, and 94.7 HD2. Guys, there's a lot of heat coming from Australia right now after Djokovic was denied access. What do you think?
I need more.
I think it's the dumbest country in the goddamn world.
Hold on. For people like me, I need context. I'm not a big tennis guy.
Okay.
Explain the story.
He was refused entry over a vaccine exemption.
So he's not vaccinated.
Okay.
But the Australian Open
Well,
did
actually,
grant him.
hold on. He didn't say he's not vaccinated. He said he's just closing that statement. So he's pulling an Aaron Rodgers, basically.
He's not vaccinated, is what that means. Because if he was, he wouldn't even bother to do all this. No one's like not sharing their vaccination status.
Ask him.
Stop. Let me start, Fish. Let me start. First of all, there's nothing going on in Australia right now.
Well, there is. There's
some
everything.
Simpson lady lucky to be alive after a driving accident. England beating Australia in cricket. That's what they have going on for them.
England.
They're
opposite.
Australians fuming over testing amid Omicron surge. Wow, that's all they're talking about. Ex-Australian youth cricketer accuses official of... I don't even want to talk about it. Guys, I hate this country.
Oh my God.
Not our country, Australia.
Oh.
They've got nothing better to do than to deny the number one and arguably one of, if not the greatest tennis player of all time, entry into their country.
It's his fault.
Shut up, Fish.
Fish,
mute your mic.
I want you to chime in after he's done. I want you to hear your opinion as well. So,
he was granted an exemption by the Australian Open.
Okay.
The Australian Open, if you guys do not know, is a major in tennis. It draws some of, if not the most revenue Australia sees at a given time. Tourism.
Yeah.
Just from match play, advertisers, sponsorships, etc., etc., etc. It is the biggest tournament every year that's held in Australia. Having said that, the best player, most recognizable figure that will draw ratings in the United States, Eastern Europe, Western Europe, even Africa, Asia, doesn't matter. The guy that will get you ratings from across the world is being denied entry into the country because he's not vaccinated. Even though we all know that even if you are vaccinated, you can still contract and spread the virus.
Right.
So what the hell is the difference? Before you tell me it's the law, what the hell is the difference between being vaccinated and unvaccinated in terms of the tournament play? In terms of tournament play, when we know that whether you are vaccinated or unvaccinated, you can spread the virus. Someone explain that to me. The problem is you dumb mother effers can't. And your stupid ass country
or smart
is making a scene over nothing and is denying entry to the greatest tennis player who generates all that revenue for you because you want to have a strict COVID policy. Makes no sense to me.
Working for
now,
them.
look, I get it. You want people to be vaccinated? All right, you want to mandate it? Whatever. Your country. Do what the hell you want. But when you are affecting a global sport like Canada is with the NHL right now, there needs to be, whether you want to call them exemptions or, you know, you have to allow certain things. And when a guy that is the face of the sport and is the most popular sport in your country outside of cricket, and you not allowing him to play in a tournament which he owns and has won it the most out of any player ever, excuse me for calling you dumb.
Gotta wait till 2023.
Yes. Makes no sense.
Scott Morrison, the Prime Minister of Australia, tweeted, and he said, Mr. Djokovic's visa has been canceled. Rules are rules, especially when it comes to our borders. No one is above these rules. Our strong border policies have been critical to Australia having one of the lowest death rates in the world from COVID. We are continuing to be vigilant.
See, I love how they spin. I love how they spin facts.
So now it's a visa issue.
No. Because Australia's quote-unquote lowest death rate is based on the amount of deaths, based on their low population. You can't compare the amount of people in the United States to Australia, just like you can't with Asia to Australia.
They could have easily gotten
so
as worse.
if you use the percentage, it's on par, if not slightly average, above the standard across the world. So shut the hell up, you dumbass. Our border, the integrity of our border. Shut the hell up. So stupid.
They did a great job.
It drives me absolutely crazy that stuff like this is even happening.
Welcome to the world.
Vaccinated people can spread the virus, yes or no?
Yes.
What the hell?
Not as deadly. It's scientifically
It's not as
proven.
deadly to those who are vaccinated. If Djokovic isn't vaccinated, and he already contracted it, all right, and he's not dead, his decision. But Djokovic, Maddy, yourself, we can all spread the virus equally, whether we are vaccinated or not.
Yeah, but we're not going to get it as deadly, and we're not going to spread it to other people. It is the point.
It's not the point. No, it's not.
That's why they want you to get vaccinated.
No, it's not. When you say it's to prevent the spread of the disease, why would you be so concerned if your country is 90% vaccinated? Wait, hear me out.
Okay.
If it's about stopping the deaths, well, that means people should be vaccinated, correct?
Right.
And that the
Yes.
people vaccinated won't have this issue. Okay, good. Fish, what's the number of vaccinated people in Australia?
Can I have a second to look it up?
Yes.
I
I believe it is over 90%, though.
Yeah, it's 94,
So if 90% of your
95%.
country is vaccinated, one person is going to change the whole country? No. I get rules. I get exemptions. I got it. But I'm telling you, what's the point here? Is it we're limiting deaths? You do that by getting the vaccine. Oh, we want to limit the spread? Bullshit. BS. Why? Because vaccinated and non-vaccinated people can spread it. So what the hell's your point, Mr. Prime Minister?
Can I tell you what they're really doing? Because what they're really doing here is they're basically treating everyone equal is what they're doing. They're saying, well, if a normal person in New South Wales can't go to Queensland, you guys don't even know what those are, but
I get it. But what the hell are we doing? You can't have it both ways. If we're denying him entry in the country because we don't want a potential spread, okay. If we're denying him in the country because we want to prevent possible death, like, I don't know. Look, I'm not a health official. What really annoys me about this is the tournament itself gives them the exemption. They're like, all right, that makes sense. Going by the rules that were given to them. And now they want to deny his visa for reasons that have not been disclosed yet. Outside of, he's not vaccinated.
Right.
And by the way, he's still in the country till Monday.
I know, he has till Monday. They're still figuring it out. But it just blows my mind. Like, we're so inconsistent around the whole world. Nobody's figured this out. And the fact that some of us are acting like we do have it figured out is beyond me.
And not saying Australia has it figured out, but hasn't Australia been pretty consistent with their really strict COVID?
They've been consistent, but they've been getting killed from July to October.
That's why I'm not necessarily surprised, but I get your premise. Like it's their loss at the end of the day. I think we can all agree there. I mean, if you're not going to have him playing at the event, but at the same time, I don't know.
But
Australia is a smaller country. They're very they're sketched out.
But when you have countries like Sweden and Bulgaria that are like, they've been open for years.
Right. And
they haven't.
It's all in Europe. They're all conjoined together.
Look, I don't have a problem with the policy. My problem with the policy is how inconsistent it is and how irrelevant it is. A guy coming to play in a tennis tournament where he'll only be in that area.
Yeah, I get that premise, definitely. It doesn't make sense.
I really don't get it.
It's their loss.
I'm not saying he needs to play in the tournament, but if that's your reason, you need a better reason than that.
There you go.
Because if Australia, again, is a 90, 95, 98% vaccinated country, why do they have an issue? Do they? Do they have an issue? No, they don't.
No, they don't.
If you're concerned about death, 90% of your population is vaccinated. You've done a great job with that. Good job, Australia. Great job. If we're talking about death, but we don't want to, we want to make sure it's spread. Well, why are you concerned with spread if they're vaccinated? Like, again, I'm confused. I'm not a health official. I just question bullshit. I don't care. I'm going to swear as much as I want today. Justin, I apologize. But it's BS. But I do want to move on to another person, Mr. Flat Earth himself. Kyrie Irving played. Kyrie played last night. We have a few minutes. He put up 22 points. What'd you think?
It's weird.
He's only going to play
It's weird. I'm not used to this. And with COVID, it's like, I get it because I respect Kyrie's point of view, and I respect someone who not only has a stance on something, but they stick by it. Like, he is not getting the vaccine. But it is weird, and I think it's going to be detrimental. I've been saying this to, I've talked to a lot of guys that follow the NBA, and it's mutual because the Nets are going to eventually have to play home playoff games. So Kyrie's not going to be there. What happens when the Nets make the finals? You have to play your first 2 games at home or the next 2 games at home. He's not going to be there.
It's just such a weird...
It's weird. Like, imagine that. Imagine a marquee player like a Stephen Curry or something like that not being able to play and only playing in road games. It's it is what it is. And if the guy can play well consistently, the Nets need him. So, I mean, I'm not going to fault the Nets for having to play road games. It helps them. You saw it last night. So, it is weird, though. But I appreciate him staying consistent. From the beginning, I'm not getting the vaccine. Now we're, almost halfway in the season. I'm still not getting the vaccine. So it is what it is. He's going to have to work around it, and that's on the Nets. I mean, they're going to have to end up taking the hit because there's going to be times where you need Kyrie, whether it's injury, whether it's, with COVID. Now guys
what
leaving.
does that do to your, rotation?
It's tough.
Like, one night, I know as a guard, I'm getting 12 minutes. Kyrie's here.
Yep.
I got to deliver in 12 minutes. Next night, 28. That's really difficult to adapt to.
Imagine
Even
the
if you
playoffs.
do it for the whole season. Imagine in a playoff series, you're playing 12 minutes and you're giving high impact 12 minutes. But now you're expected to deliver for the rest of the series, the next 2-3 games, for 28 minutes. I find that extremely difficult. Now, can some players do it? Maybe. But I find it extremely difficult. And there's 2 random dudes that walked in that are throwing me off that I'm staring at. Excuse me. No idea who the hell they are. That's why I was looking. No idea, and they're still staring at me. It's really weird. What's up, Fish?
Can I ask why Novak Djokovic? Oh my God, what's going on? But Kyrie Irving? Oh, okay, cool, good for you.
What do you mean? Because, again, one, Kyrie Irving is in the country, and there's rules against him playing on road games.
Yes.
I think it's stupid. I'm not going to waste my time. But with Australia, for a country that is so strict...
But if it was in the U.S., you'd be the same as Kyrie Irving. You'd be like, oh, okay.
No.
He's an idiot. Move on.
It's not that... Kyrie is an idiot because what he is doing is detrimental to his team. It's a mandate. It's, hey, you got to be vaccinated to play here.
And what he's doing is
These are
detrimental to
border
tennis.
laws, not even tournament laws. These have nothing to do with the tournament. That's what drives me nuts. Does that make sense?
Oh, same in the NBA.
No. The NBA mandates that you need to be vaccinated to play in these certain cities.
but the cities, like New York, mandated
yes, but it's
that
agreed
he can't
upon
play.
with the tournament or the league officials. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So now you see the NFL. They're starting to make all their Tier 1 employees do it. I don't like inconsistency. I don't. But regardless, we do got to go to break. When we get back, fun topic, not so stressful. We got a fantasy football champion in the building. I did forget his trophy.
Yep.
I did forget his trophy, but
Yep,
I do
not
want
a
to.
shocker.
I do want to
Not
give
a
him
shocker.
a special ceremony.
Not a shocker.
So we'll do that after the break. I do apologize.
Do I have to go to your house this afternoon?
We will.
Hey,
Fish,
we
you're gonna.
have one more day in the week.
I'll give you my address. You can just go to my house and get it.
All right.
But we'll do
Come
that
hang out.
after the break. All right.
All right,
How about
let's
that?
do it.
Oh man. Whew. My goodness. Don't look at me like that. Listen, I forgot the trophy. I'm sorry.
No, okay, listen.
I'm sorry. What do you want from
When
me?
did I win? Was that last week?
Yeah, it was last week.
Was it last week? It was.
Yeah,
it was
it was
last
last
Monday
week.
you
Last
officially
Monday,
were champion.
yep.
It's okay.
And I haven't brought it since.
I just want to see it on the morning show. Right? Just put it right on that baby.
Well,
while we're doing
hopefully
this.
tomorrow.
I'm
Fish.
delivering you a present. It's an Australian jersey.
Oh God, don't do that.
Fish, I will burn that thing so quickly. I'm gonna walk in here with an
Anyways, we still
Australian
haven't gone to
flag.
break, so let's go to break.
All right.
And you know
Yeah,
what we're
okay.
talking about when we come back. But first, Lady Jane's.
All right, well, Lady Jane's, guys, let's be honest. We like simple stuff and like football 5 days a week. We like things uncomplicated. Like Lady Jane's haircuts for men. I'm wearing a hat right now. Don't fault me. But when I'm not wearing a hat, I'll come in, I'll get my hair cut. I'm just looking at it right now, the comfy chairs. You can watch Sports Center, get your hair taken care of, and before you know it, you're handsome and clean. Get to Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime because it is wicked awesome.
I'm Kay Cunningham. I'm proud to partner with Hall Financial, the mortgage company known for 5-star service. Don't just take my word for it. Check out their 5,000 5-star reviews for yourself. Go to callhallfirst.com and get started with your 5-star experience today.
Go! Detroit Sports on Demand.
DeAndre Swift, he's going to take it all the way for the touchdown. Open in the corner, he triples.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app today. Take us with you everywhere you go. Search Woodward Sports Network or WSN Live.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Woodward Morning Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Guys, we have a long-awaited trophy ceremony for you. Adam, you want to take this one?
All right. The 2021-2022 inaugural Woodward Sports champion, fantasy football, the man himself, the guy who would not leave me alone all season asking me for fantasy advice.
No. That is
The
true.
man
That
who
is
somehow
true.
still won the trophy.
That is true.
Even though he traded Keenan Allen for Calvin Ridley, which was a disaster move.
Disaster. We'll laugh about it.
Somehow, some way, this guy found his way to the championship game and delivered. And even though I had Tyreek Hill going in the last game, and he only got 2 points, we're not going to bring that up.
Yeah, took a dump.
We're not going to bring that up. But hey, things happen. I would like to present Jeff Iafrady with the inaugural, first ever Woodward Sports Fantasy Football Trophy. Alex Mayer, Commissioner, will you please do the honors? Can I get a drum roll? Can I get a drum roll, music, anything? All right, the commissioner himself will be presenting the award
Let's go.
to Jeff. I didn't forget it.
Commish? Thanks, Commish. Put it right on there, Commish.
All right, you can present the award.
So you know how people usually say it may not be my duty, but it most certainly is my honor? Well, it may not be my honor, but it is my duty to present you with this very light, don't know what it's made out of.
7 inches.
7 inches. This fancy football trophy.
It's exactly what Jeff asked for. He asked for 7 inches.
Congratulations.
All right, champ. May I say, it feels good to have a champion sitting here on the Morning Woodward Show.
All right, look. Just want to say thank you to my mom. Thank you to my
We
mom.
would love a speech here.
Thank you to my mom.
Keep that trophy with you. All right, keep it
I'm
next
gonna
to
put
you.
it on my side, right here.
All right.
You have to hold it throughout
We
the
want to hear a
duration of your
speech. We want to
Alright,
hear
listen.
a speech.
You know what's funny? I think it's hilarious, and I love it that the morning show managed to get in the finals.
That's
and,
right.
And I think it's a win-win because either if Adham won, we still would be celebrating either way. And you know what? Shout out to Tyreek Hill. Shout out to Tyreek Hill for crapping the bed. And you know what? That's how fantasy works, my friends. I have 2 leagues this year. I won them both. Very weird circumstances in both of them, but to have this trophy right here that my man Alex just presented to me, it's very, very awesome. Okay. What's the front spot? Oh, the Decade Award. Is that the...
No,
The laces.
that's the lace, the football.
So the blank? All right, that's...
Well, no.
You didn't
So
even get it
here's
engraved,
step 2.
Adam?
No, well, that was step 2.
Oh my God.
Listen, as if like I have time. Do you know what the hell my day consists of?
I do. I'll give you that.
The hell's wrong with you guys?
You
You
could've
should know
asked
better.
one of us.
Like I don't even have time to pick up the damn trophy in the morning.
Well, that's your fault.
Amazon delivered
You
it to
understand
you.
how my
How do you forget this?
I didn't forget.
Or just...
It's going to get engraved next,
All right.
and
Adam,
every year we're gonna have the
You didn't
date.
have to do anything. You just
and the
ordered
winner.
it on Amazon and it showed up at your door.
No.
You could have got it engraved.
Amazon.
I can go get it.
Insulting.
All right, Jeff. Since
Also,
everyone
you
wants to
could
be
have got
such
it delivered to the
paranoid
studio
babies
too.
about this,
That would have been
Jeff,
easier.
I will Zelle you money.
No.
Go get it. Go get it engraved.
No.
Or I'll go do
You
it for
probably
you.
can't even get it engraved because
I don't have time,
it's made
damn
out of
it.
some like
I
hard
like
plastic.
it.
I picked it up and I was surprised that it had 0 weight to it.
I don't
It
have
weighs,
time
like,
to
less
even
than a
go have
pound.
dinner.
No, it's
You want me to
nice.
go get something engraved?
Yes.
He says, no, it's nice.
No,
You
it's
went through
nice.
all
I
the
like
trouble
it.
to get
I
a
like
trophy and it's blank. Like,
Well, says the commissioner
that
who
also
only
go-
allowed
Oh,
4
boy.
playoff teams.
Okay, yeah, let's get into how bad of a commissioner
Yeah,
I am. Let's
you-
do that, please.
Unbelievable.
You needed more planning. You said
More
like,
planning. My day is fully planned. That's the problem.
well, you said the Friday before. Oh, we're doing a trophy.
Huh?
You said the Friday before he
Well,
won.
we didn't know what we were going to give, if we were going to give money or if we were going to do a trophy.
All right, to be fair, since I'm such a bad commissioner, to
actually
add
thought you
on
did a
to
good
that,
job. You did a
I
good
probably
commissioner.
should have been the one that
Yeah,
got the
jackass.
trophy. But you probably should have been.
Yeah, jackass. You're the one who started
Why
this.
did you just take the blame
Don't
for
do
that?
No,
that.
he
Adam's
should've
gonna jump
that.
on it.
That-
He's the damn commissioner. I'm just a goddamn
I'm
employee.
the worst commissioner
But
ever.
you said a few
I
weeks
just
ago.
joined the league. I didn't start the damn league.
You said
I'm
if
the
you-
one that bought the damn trophy and came up with giving
we're
an award.
a freaking sports network, and we
Where's
were gonna
the damn
have, we were gonna
commissioner
have
doing
zero
his job?
fantasy football league.
Hey.
So I took initiative.
Listen, I don't want to restart this fire, but I'm okay with the 4 teams, Alex, by the way. All right, 6 teams. It ended up benefiting me in a way. And I know, Adam, we had this discussion. You were never on the morning show where we kept saying, like, our commissioner just chose 4 teams. And I know you messaged us to change it to 6.
Yeah.
But I'm happy. I'm good with that. I know Fish would have made it, right? I know Fish would have made
Fish
it.
doesn't
and
matter.
Kennedy, yeah. But they were just upset because they were just on the outside looking in.
I wasn't.
Yeah.
I wasn't upset. I didn't
There
even
you
really
go.
care.
I don't even mind
I was
that.
like, cool, 4 teams.
But you
that's
guys
fine.
need to shut the hell up. Especially the people in this room. You should know better.
Yeah.
What?
You should know better.
Hey,
For what?
you were the person a few weeks ago that said you'd give him another chance in 2022.
I am.
Are you
I'm
gonna-
not dogging him.
Technically,
No.
okay.
We're talking about his
you guys
past
should
mistakes.
be thanking me because without me, we would have had no fantasy football league. What kind of sports network
That's
doesn't
true.
have a fantasy football league?
No,
sports
it would have been
network
the same
has
thing that the
zero.
trophy
Sports
though.
Network that at the time was getting ready for football season.
Okay, we can do both.
Clearly.
We did it. We did it.
Next year, there's money.
Next year there will
there's
be a
buy-in.
prize pool involved.
Yes.
We will get
Oh,
a
boy.
bigger trophy that will have like year-to-year
Potentially
engraved.
And it will be engraved.
This one will be the temporary
That's
one.
what makes it special, though. Like
This will be the first and last one.
The first one.
The next one will
OG.
be one that'll have an engraved marking every single year.
Wow.
And the person will get to keep them with it at home every single year.
Wow.
Fair? Are we okay with this?
That's fair.
This is a democracy. I'm willing
Clip
to
it.
take votes on this.
No.
Alex
Well,
Mayer,
you need to make
Commish,
sure-
are you okay with this?
Yes.
You need
Can
to
we
make
move on?
You need to make sure the whole network's okay, Fed.
Adam, this has to fill a whole segment. We're struggling here. Come on.
You're killing me.
Supposed to,
Oh, yeah. Just,
Let's
Effing hell, man.
let's talk about the highlights of the fantasy football season. Well,
No, I don't
Jeff,
want. You know what I want to talk about?
Who was your MVP, Jeff?
The
of your
highlight was
team?
you trading Keenan Allen
I didn't trade
that
him.
was actually
for
us.
Calvin Ridley.
That was
Oh,
us
excuse
that
me,
did
he
it.
did.
They
Yeah, that
robbed
was
me.
us. Yeah.
Fish.
well, technically, I still won, but yeah, you robbed me.
The highlight, actually, guys, you want to know what the highlight of the season was? Alex Mayer
Oh, boy.
going behind everybody's back.
No.
and
He
trying
doesn't know.
and trying to make a deal with somebody who had left the league to take all their
Who?
good players for his bench players.
Who?
Alex, you got to defend yourself.
Listen, Alex, you
Who?
can. Alex,
I think I have a name
Alex?
idea.
just
I sound like a damn
on.
owl in here. Tell me.
Alex, you did it. You made the trade
What trade?
with Art and Mikey.
Ah.
You were making those deals.
No, I didn't make any trade.
You were
with
trying
Art
to make the
Mikey.
deals.
Let's go back in the archives.
It was disapproved
On the
by the league.
archives.
We all canceled the trade. We all
Oh, there
remember
was
this.
one with Mikey.
Yeah,
but we both,
yeah.
we
Oh, now
both-
we know. Now there was one, right?
Oh, wait, that
Now
was-
there was one, right? For 3 minutes, I'm
There was
crazy,
one,
right?
There was one trade with Mikey. I think
Yeah.
I was giving up. I don't even remember.
You
what
were
it
giving
was.
up your bench players
Yeah, you
for
were robbing
freaking
them.
DK Metcalf and Debo Samuel, I think. Kick rocks.
What if he accepts it though?
We can decline it as a league.
Yeah,
we,
but
we do league
I
voting.
think the person should be able to accept or decline. It's
No, not when it hurts the integrity of the league. Imagine I knew I was eliminated from the playoffs,
Okay, Roger
and I
Goodell.
gave Alex Mayer, Cooper Kupp, and Patrick Mahomes.
I already
You
had
think that's
Cooper
fair?
Kupp. I drafted Cooper Kupp. Thank you very much.
I know, but you get the point.
And Justin Jefferson. Top 2 wide receivers in the entire league. I drafted him.
and,
I'm proud of you.
and
Alex-
you got it. Were there? Did you get third place?
I don't remember.
Okay, cool.
But
my MVP, quickly before we move on, Austin Eckler. Although I didn't have him in the game, but all year he's been carrying me. He beat
right.
Stick for me, so sorry, Stick.
All right. Well, we do got to move on. Jeff, I'm
Yep.
glad you have your trophy.
I am too.
We do have how much time do we have? 5
Right
minutes.
oh boy.
So we
Sure.
will segue for a little bit. Take a deep breath. Let's get back on course. It's a disaster right now.
Yeah.
My goodness, from Australia
This
to
is
fish
fun.
to
This is-
fantasy football trophy,
love Australia.
complaining about size. He asked for 7 inches, by the way.
No, he did not.
No one complained about the size. It was the
I-
fact
yeah, the
that
size
it's
is
not engraved.
I think he
For
just
7 inches. I don't want on radio. Jeff asked for 7 inches.
You did.
I don't want to hear
Well,
that.
now you
That
just said
sound
in
bite needs to get
stone. Now you
deleted.
just said,
All
oh boy.
Don't. All right.
Jeff would have took a 3-inch trophy if it would have had his name on it.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I'm not afraid to note 3-inch. What? Give me, oh wait, pause. No, give me give me the
boy.
7-inch.
Listen, you guys are doing this to yourself.
Give me the 7-inch.
Give me the 7-inch trophy. All right, I'll take it.
All
we
right,
talk about
I
how
do want
hot
to
and ready's
segue
are
one
no
more
longer
time because we're gonna have to
$5?
I
get
saw
into
that.
it.
That was the funniest thing ever.
I'm sorry, Adam.
We are going to have to get into this probably a lot more tomorrow. Tomorrow's a Friday show, lots of Lions talk. I do want to segue real quick, Packers-Lions.
Oh boy.
Starting players or not. DeAndre Swift expected to play. Do you have a problem with that, Jeff? And also, if you're the Packers, are you sitting your players? Matt LaFleur already came out and said, I don't know how I feel about a 3-week layoff. Makes sense to me.
I don't blame him, and I would feel the exact same way. And you've seen it. History shows. We went through it yesterday. If you look at historically, the Ravens in 2019, John Harbaugh rather, and Lamar Jackson, MVP and Coach of the Year, got bounced first playoff game. Because you know why? They rested starters at the end of the last game because they wanted to be healthy going into the playoffs. It's really not worth it. I mean, you could get hurt at any given time in the NFL. Aaron Rodgers needs to play this week against the Detroit Lions. Now, will he finish the game? Probably not. If they're up by a lot, he's out the game. And especially Devontae Adams, you don't want those guys playing the entire game. But I see it as a more beefed-up preseason game. They're going to be out there playing. It's just a matter of when they come out. Maybe they play the whole game, but I don't see them playing. You know, people coming out here saying maybe they'll play the first couple drives, whatever. I see Aaron playing most of this game. I will be there in person, so maybe I'm a little biased because I want to see Aaron Rodgers. But at the same time, I just don't see it. And I get where Matt LaFleur is coming from because 3-week layoff, I mean, that's tough to bounce back, especially if you're to me, the favorite in the NFC. Got a lot of, the pressure's on them, and they're on an all-time high. They're playing great. now they struggle to stop the run, but giving him 3 weeks off isn't going to help that. So I see where he's coming from. I think it's overrated when teams, I know the Kansas City Chiefs did it once, but they're the Kansas City Chiefs. And not everyone could do that. Rest players and then play just as well going into the playoffs. So
well, what about Swift?
Swift,
he's got to play.
He's got to play because you haven't seen. I mean, you've seen a couple games this year where he's gotten a bunch of carries, a high volume. He's produced, but you've also seen some lows, and especially early in the season, the production wasn't there, and now late he struggled to stay healthy. And Dan Campbell put it best. He still has a lot to prove. Get him out there. He needs reps. This isn't a guy that Ezekiel Elliott, a Delvin Cook, where you rest him because he's a proven guy in the league. No, DeAndre needs the experience. Second-year player, and he has a lot of room to grow. So I see both sides. All players should be playing this week. That's how I view it. If I'm the Green Bay, if I'm the Lions, either way. Maybe we won't see Jared Goff, but DeAndre should be out there. Definitely.
Yeah, no, DeAndre has to be out there because he's never been available consistently. And last I checked, Netflix has been running the ball damn well. And so was Jamar Jefferson when he was healthy. So when you're DeAndre Swift and you want to get paid and you want to be the feature back of this football team moving forward, you got to be available. I don't care how talented you are. If you're not available, you're useless to me.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got to show up in the last game. He's got to play well, not get injured, and try to play 14, 15, 16 games next year. And if he can't, he's not getting paid.
No way.
And even if he does, I don't think he's getting paid. So, yeah, the Lions have a good enough offensive line that whoever they decide to put in, they'll be just fine. I'm not even worried about it. So we do got to go to break. When we get back, my goodness, am I excited for this topic, honestly? I've been waiting for this like most of the day. The biggest offseason needs for the Detroit Lions.
Let's do it.
I'm ready. We talked about it maybe a little earlier in terms of the draft, but now free agency, potential trades. Who are you looking at? Draft. Who do you want to go day 3, day 4? Or excuse me, third, fourth round. And in terms of depth, what are you going for?
Mm-hmm.
Is Akuda moving a safety? Does that mean you're going to take a corner? So many questions. Can't wait for it. We'll do it right after the break.
Fellas, football season is here. It's time to make your grooming experience easy like Sunday morning. Get to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk in, relax, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Get to Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Welcome back to the Woodward Morning Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Be sure you're following us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and Twitch. Download our mobile sports app on Apple or Google Play, and make sure you download our podcast wherever you listen, whether that's Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts, or Amazon Music. Guys, we're talking about the Lions' biggest needs in this offseason. Where do we start with this?
You start on the defensive side of the ball. You need a linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
You need an edge rusher. You need a quarterback. You do. Now, do you get one this year? Probably not. Probably not. But those are needs. Jared Goff is not the solution. And I'm sorry, Dan Campbell, how patient do you think people will be if 3 years from now you've had 3 losing seasons and you're just then moving off Jared Goff?
Right.
That is, again, that's difficult to pull off. That's why I think 6, 7, 8 wins is so important next year. But regardless of the point, I think this is going to be a summer of trades, and I hope it is. Can you get a 3rd-round pick? Hell, maybe even a 2nd. I doubt a 2nd. But can you get a 3rd and a 7th, a 3rd and a 6th for DeAndre Swift? Can you move him? Is he necessary to this football team? Clearly, he has big playability. We saw it against the Rams. Saw it against the Bears. But can he stay healthy enough?
Yeah.
And that's a big concern for me. And yes, you do have 2 first-round picks, which I both expect to be on the defensive side of the ball. So after that, you go into day 2. Well, here you go. Wide receiver, maybe? How long is Brad Holmes going to wait on a wide receiver? Or is this the year where he feels so damn confident about a wide receiver, he goes up at 2? Maybe he goes in the 2nd round, or not. Or maybe it's a safety, or a secondary player, or another D tackle. So many questions. But their needs are on the defensive side of the ball. Although you've seen improvement in the score, in terms of points allowed, you're still bottom of the NFL in terms of almost everything defensively. I mean, you're statistically just as bad as you were under Matt Patricia. But you've seen the significant improvement, and that's where stats can be deceiving, because I think we can all agree Aaron Glenn's done a phenomenal job with the defense.
Yep.
But on defense, they rank 30th in points, 28 in yards. And overall, 28 and 29 in total in the NFL. That's really... It's really like contradicting. Like, oh, you have like the worst statistical defense in the NFL. Oh, but your defense has kept you in so many games this year. And it's because they've had multiple games where they've given up less than 20 points. And they've had multiple games where they've given up more than 30. And they just dropped 50 to the Seahawks. And likely 28 to 31 against the Packers. And they aren't getting any healthier. So, yeah, look. You got to address the defensive side of the ball. This is the worst point differential year in the Lions' history since the 0-16 year of Rod Marinelli and the first year under Jim Schwartz. It was that bad. But, guys, I keep making the Jim Schwartz argument. I'm telling you, it's here. When's the last time a coach was that bad as Rod Marinelli and Matt Patricia, and then the next guy came in and statistically was worse?
Yeah.
Jim Schwartz. Now Dan Campbell. Jim Schwartz took over. The point differential the year prior on the 0-16 team was minus 249. Jim Schwartz, his first year, minus 232. Just as bad. What happened year 2? Well, they went 6-10. What if I'm telling you? 6 to 8 wins. Year 3, 10-6. You saw what they can do. Now, they did regress after that, but the point is, you saw an evolution.
Yeah, the 3 years.
And now with Campbell, he took over Patricia. They were minus 142 last year in point differential. This year, they're on pace to be about 170, 180. Depends on how much they lose to Green Bay by. But they're currently at minus 149. And if they beat Green Bay, that means they'll be above Patricia's, which means next year you'd expect them to be 6-11, 7-10. And maybe year 3, they're a 10-win football team. I see a lot of resemblance in terms of the project undertaken between Jim Schwartz and Dan Campbell. I see very similar projects. Different assets. Schwartz had Stafford, Calvin, Sue.
Different team, but
this team has an offensive line that team never had. This team has a tight end that team never had.
They got a run game.
This team has a run game that team never had. So they both are unique and different in their own ways. But what I see is maybe a potential progression that, you know what, in 3 years, this could be a 10-11 win football team. And I would not be surprised. There's going to be a talented football team in a few years, guys. Stop making excuses. Please. I can't go another 58 years. It's going to be a talented football team.
Mm-hmm.
Coach needs to get it done. Quarterback needs to get it done. End of story. End of biggest needs in the offseason, got to address the defense.
And for me, I want to take this approach because biggest needs, obviously, positional-wise, you can go through it, wide receiver. You need defensive edge rushers, linebackers, safeties. I want to go what they should do, must-dos in the offseason. Number one, obvious, hit more than you miss in the draft. And that's a given, obviously. But especially this early in the rebuild, you have to start hitting on guys and landing immediate starters to help contribute and get better. I mean, you need to. These 2 first-round picks this year and next year, very important. The next one, don't worry about pulling the trigger in free agency. I think everybody starts talking about free agency. This year is going to be more about clearing cap space, not, being more detrimental to your cap space. You got to find a way to get rid of Trey Flowers. You got to find a way, to work some of these contracts. The third thing is player development, and that's big. This offseason is big for them. Tons of guys showed flashes. You've seen it 1 through 7 all rounds last year. But there's a reason they're called rookies. Levi Ozarike, Derek Barnes, they kind of took a step back in some games, and some guys showed that there's still plenty of room to grow. Really, the only one that's been consistently getting better is Amon-Ra St. Brown. That guy has been balling. Everybody else has shown, that they need to improve. And same with Amon-Ra. The next thing is they need to hit on your next offensive coordinator. You've already hit on one. You hit on your defensive coordinator, Aaron Glenn. Home run. Love the guy. Once you add talent, we know the defense is going to be solid. Offensively, Dan Campbell, ever since he started play calling, Jared Goff has looked better, but I don't think Dan Campbell's the solution. He's not the offensive coordinator of the future. You got Ben Johnson, maybe Deuce Staley. I'm willing to wait and see on those guys, but they need to hit on the offensive coordinator. If Ben Johnson is the move, great. Deuce Staley, I'm willing to wait, but you need to get that in order. You need to hit more than you miss in the draft, because these 2 next drafts are going to be huge. Whether it's finding a quarterback, whether it's getting 4 first-round picks in the next 2 years that are probably going to be immediate starters, and you need guys to get better. That is it. That is it. I mean, this team right now, you have 2 wins on the season. It's not like you're going to have a great free agency and turn this thing around in 1 year. It's going to take 2 years to really get your feet under it. Like the Jim Schwartz progression. I love it. I know we started looking up Jim Schwartz. His first season, 2 wins. Second season, 6 wins. Third season, 10 wins. That's the projection you see Dan Campbell. Now, the comparisons between the two, that's another conversation. But in terms of projection as a team, I see it similarly like that. And if you want to be like that, we have more assets on this team. You have more first-round picks, so no excuse why they can't be. So to kind of just go through what I said, 3 things. Hit more than you miss in the draft. Don't worry about pulling the trigger in free agency. Clear cap space. And number 3, hit on your offensive coordinator. And then everybody else just needs to get better, man. That's all it is. If players continue to get better, Amon-Ra takes the next step, Levi Osirike gets better, Ali McNeil gets better, Iffy getting more snaps, you're going to be just fine. You're going to have starters in the future, but you can't afford to regress. You can't have guys get worse. You know what I mean? Or from a coaching standpoint, you can't afford to regress and get worse. You can't afford it, especially this early in the rebuild. You're affording, to set your franchise back even farther. So that's what needs to happen this offseason, man. All 3 of those things.
Yeah, I feel what I see on the Lions' defensive side of the ball is a lot of depth players, but not many impact number 1s. And in this draft, you need to hit on 2.
Yep.
And preferably an edge rusher and a linebacker. But even if they don't go edge rusher early on, and they don't even take one till the 2nd, 3rd, 4th round, I would be more than okay with that. But you got to get the linebacker. For me, it's tough to imagine a first round where the Lions don't walk away with Nakobe Dean or Devin Floyd.
Yeah.
You don't walk away with Devin Lloyd or Nakobe Dean. Man, how many more years do you want to go without a real linebacker in Detroit?
It's tough, yeah.
Yeah, so for me, that's like one of the big concerns I have. But he did bring up Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinating position. Look, from what I'm hearing, man, I think they're sticking with Deuce Staley.
Yeah, I'm hearing that as well. So
from what I'm understanding, it's going to be Deuce Staley that's given the reins. And Ben Johnson will be doing what he's doing with Dan Campbell now with Deuce Staley. I don't know how I feel about that.
I don't either. And it's not to discredit Deuce. Let's get that straight. We can respect Deuce as a running back coach, but he's never, and I get he's been an assistant for a very long time. I'm sure he's familiar with all out-of-call plays, but he doesn't have experience drawing up plays. Now, mind you, the run game has looked terrific.
How easy does next year look like? It's one of the easiest schedules in the NFL next year. Lots of losing teams on that schedule. You play the NFC East. You play the AFC East. There's 4 or 5 teams there beatable. You're telling me that next year's not a 6 to 8, 9 win season? You're delusional, actually. The opportunity to win those games are there. Not that they will, but you can't tell me that if you actually look at their schedule honestly and say, you know what, I see 6, 8, maybe even 9 wins. And what happens if you don't deliver? What do we do? If you don't deliver wins next year and you're a 2-15 team again, then what?
It's a disaster.
Next year there are CJ, Lloyd, and Dean are not even top 20 prospects. They're top 15, top 12, man.
Yeah.
Lloyd maybe top 18, top 9, maybe 19th, 20th prospect, but still
2 of the best linebackers.
Dean is going to be a top 10 pick, no doubts. Everybody in the NFL saw Micah Parsons this year. They're going to look at Nakobe Dean and Devin Lloyd and say, we're not missing out.
Speed kills. Yeah.
We're not missing out on guys that can go sideline to sideline and attack the quarterback. Mm-hmm. We're not going to make that mistake again. Those 2 are going to go in the top 15. Can the Lions make that move? I hope so. I really do.
But I love the point you brought up, because next year is so important that it's almost like, okay, I get Deuce Staley, but given the year doesn't go as planned,
when are you going to win games?
That decision falls back on Dan.
But when are you going to win games?
Exactly.
So, I like Easy's point here. To be fair, the Giants and Jets do have top 10 picks. Yeah, they do. You're right. They should be able to improve their roster. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That is a fair point to make. Another fair point to make is the Eagles are 9-7 with not much outside of 2 defensive front players, a mobile quarterback, a rookie wide receiver, and a backfield that changes every week.
The Eagles have a ton of first-round
And
picks,
Lane
too.
Johnson, I can't forget about him.
They got assets over there in Philly.
Eagles are winning 9 games.
Yeah.
Look at the schedule they had this year, very similar to Detroit. Next year, Detroit, I'm just saying, you win 2-3 games next year, it's going to be a bit of smack in the face. It really is. You got to improve. I'm telling you, the Schwartz trajectory. 2 wins, 6 wins, 10 wins. You do that, Dan Campbell, you will have done a good job here. You win 2 games this year and then 2-3 next year, or even 4, and they're in a position to get a quarterback. Why should anyone really have faith? And maybe it's too early to be discussing this, but
it's
for me,
reality.
it's hard to look at that schedule next year and say, with the talent Brad Holmes will give you, you're not delivering.
Mm-hmm. No reason.
Sorry. And you have an average quarterback. Mm-hmm. You can win with average quarterbacks. Sorry. Ryan Tannehill. Baker Mayfield's 29-30 in his career. That's an 8-8 quarterback every year. Mm-hmm. Kirk Cousins 50-50.
You have Jared Goff.
You have Jared Goff.
Should get you 7 or 6, 7.
I'm just saying, like,
yeah.
This year I was not on board with saying they should be winning games. But next year, excuse me, the talent's going to be there. I'm invested in Brad Holmes. I believe in it. We got to go to break. Let's continue the conversation when we get back. Maddie.
All right, guys. Aaron Rodgers made some comments on the MVP not choosing him. The reporter from Chicago. We'll hear what he had to say when we get back. Talk to you soon.
6 dark corners, a driveway and a patio, 5 windows that could become doors. Every house has unique security challenges. Guardian Alarm has more tech, more team, and more ways to help keep them all safe. Get a professionally designed and installed security and smart home system from Guardian Alarm. Sign up today and get a free video device. Guardian Alarm. Smart, right from the start. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT.
Opinions are like ear holes, and we're putting ours in yours.
Well, that's not winning, Joy.
It's Woodward Sports.
Welcome back to the Woodward Morning Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Guys, we know the comments that were made by this editor from Chicago.
Executive editor, excuse you.
I'm so sorry.
Excuse you.
My apologies.
How dare you?
How dare I? This executive editor from Chicago
Giving these titles out to anybody now.
said that Aaron Rodgers was the biggest jerk, and that's why he shouldn't win the MVP award. Well, Aaron Rodgers was asked about this yesterday, and he called Hub a bum.
I love this. Can we watch this? Yep.
Think of one of the 50 voters coming out and saying yesterday, quote, "I don't think you can be the biggest jerk in the league and punish your team and your organization and your fan base the way he did and be the MVP. I think he's a bad guy, and I don't think a bad guy can be the MVP at the same time."
I think he's a bum. I think he's an absolute bum. He doesn't know me. I don't know who he is. No one knew who he was probably until yesterday's comments. But, I mean, and I listened to the comments, but to say he had his mind made up in the summertime, in the off season, that, you know, I had 0 chance of winning MVP, in my opinion, should exclude, you know.
He's a bum.
Yeah.
I love that.
Talk your crap,
that's why,
Aaron.
like, look, I'm not saying Aaron Rodgers is a perfect human being, or that he's not difficult to work with, or that he's not a diva at moments, or that he's just really, like, narcissistic at times. But my goodness, was he spot on.
Yeah, he was.
He's a bum. He is. He is. You know what? There needs to be a committee that isn't filled with journalists, reporters, coaches, players, none of it. You need a separate independent committee that votes every year. People that don't have personal interests in a certain team, or that if they ask a player to do an interview and they say no, that they're going to hold a grudge against them for the rest of their careers.
Yep.
You need to get away from that. You need to have like this one thing, one entity that hands out the awards every year. And how that voting is done, totally figure that out later. Could be a group of 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. No, I don't care how many it is. The point is, it's a group of qualified people that make those decisions. not Mr. Hub here, who thinks it's okay publicly to come out and say, I'm not going to vote for a player because I think he's mean. And I think he's a jerk. And I think he's a bad guy. This isn't the Walter Payton Man of the Year award. This is the Most Valuable Player award. It goes to the best player over a given NFL season. And the player that is deemed most valuable to his team. This year it is Aaron Rodgers. The Packers are 0-1 when he hasn't played. When they played a debacle game against the Saints, so you can say 0-2 basically without Aaron Rodgers playing at the Aaron Rodgers level. And for the rest of the year, they're 13-1. Most valuable player. We'll never understand it. Don't get it. Somebody explain to me why people like this have votes.
You know what was embarrassing from his perspective? What he actually said, what came out of his mouth. He said, I don't know if other voters have the same perspective as me, but because certainly on the field, Aaron Rodgers, yeah, he has a case for MVP. Like he literally said that. He said on the field, yeah, I mean maybe he does win MVP, but off the field, dude, you already ruined your own argument. The MVP award is based on the field accomplishments. It's not about how you are in the locker room, whether you're immunized or not. No, it's all based on your performance, how valuable you are to your team, and him coming out and saying, I ain't gonna vote for Aaron. It's the most biased BS I've ever heard. That's why I love when Aaron says things like this. He's a bum. Because people are going to read this who already hate Aaron and say, oh, Aaron.
My favorite part about that was he said, I didn't know they added an extra letter to the award. It said the most valuable vaccinated player. And, like, honestly, I agree with Aaron. Like, really, you're going to hold that against me? Like, yeah, I said I was immunized. Maybe I did mislead you. But you guys didn't follow up and ask me if I was vaccinated. So, like, why would I come out and publicly say it? So, yeah, like, I'm with Aaron on this. Excuse me. But I do want to get back to the Detroit Lions offseason talk. Biggest needs, Jeff, all right? Now we're looking at this draft. Mm-hmm. If I told you you could not trade back,
okay,
what are you doing?
I'm taking an edge rusher, that second overall pick, and that second first rounder's got to be, to me, I respect best player available. But to me, it's got to be a wide receiver. Unless a linebacker's there. You got Devin Lloyd there. Obviously, you take him. Nakobe Dean will be gone. Devin Lloyd probably will be gone. So to me, it's a wide receiver. I think there's abundance of them. They will be available towards the end of the first round. And from that point on, you go defense. I mean, unless you want to take, there's an offensive player you like, maybe a backup tight end. But no, it's got to be all defense to your point. And especially that first overall pick, it's got to be an edge rusher. And if you trade back to number 5, Kyle Hamilton, but other than that, I'm edge rusher, and then wide receiver, probably second, first round pick. That's kind of how I'm leaning.
Yes, so for me, if I'm stuck at 2 and there is no trade available, if Hutchinson is available but Thibodeau was taken 1,
go either one.
That's a tough decision, man. That's a tough decision.
Well, you're saying if Kayvon was taken number 1,
if Kayvon was taken number 1, that's a hard decision for me.
Seriously, between Aiden or the
Neal
rest of
or even Hamilton or Stingley, it becomes very difficult, and I can't trade back.
Are you walking back a little bit on Aiden? I know you at first.
No, it's not that I'm walking back on him. It's positional value at the number 2 overall pick. Like, I can't miss.
Transcend it.
I can't miss here. If I miss, I set this team back.
I see that. Yeah,
I think Aiden Hutchinson does go into the NFL and contributes right away. But it's tough for me to take an edge rusher at number 2 when the one who we can all agree has the higher ceiling was taken at 1.
Yeah.
That's like me settling for sloppy seconds. And although Aiden is going to be very good in the NFL, Hamilton at number 2 is extremely expensive to me.
Yeah, that's a risk.
Even Evan Neal at number 2. My offensive line is fine.
Yeah, I don't see
What am I going to move him to guard?
Yeah, I don't see the Evan Neal, but
so me at number 2, it makes me nervous. It makes me nervous if Thibodeau isn't there. If I get my pick of the 2, I'm taking Thibodeau. But yeah, man, look, if I can trade back to 5 and get either Hamilton or Stingley, or hell, I can trade back to 6 or 7 and get Dean, I'm doing it.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I would do it.
Considering the assets you're getting.
Yeah, I would 100% do it.
Yeah.
And I think trading back, we haven't seen this organization do it. They should have done it in the Okudah draft. We've never seen them really do it from a high draft valued position. Mm-hmm. When are they going to make that move? And I think this could be the very year. I really do. So I'm excited about that. We do got to go to break. Everybody, mailbag time coming out of the break.
Yes, sir.
Please do put your questions in the chat. We will get them ready. Fish, if you have any questions, buddy, I'm listening. Don't talk to me about Australia, please. Having said that, thank you guys so much for joining us. We'll be right back after the break.
Okay, you thirsty little spin goblins. I want you to pedal into the next dimension. Spin it! Spin! Spin! Uh-oh! Carmen's falling behind. Let's give her the hiss of shame. Spin! Spin! Spin till you bleed!
Don't ride the bike of shame. Come to Planet Fitness and find your own lane with tons of equipment, free fitness training, and no hissing. Join today for just $10 a month.
Woodward Sports. Missed part of the show today? Watch again on YouTube or download the podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Fish just says the most outlandish things during the break, and then everybody's got to come out of the break smiling and laughing. Like, we're never going to evolve here. What are we doing?
What do you mean we're not evolving?
We need to become more professional, man. You're growing both personally and professionally here.
Okay.
You got to continue to grow. Not say really weird things that make Jeff piss himself on the seat.
Okay.
Like, it's bad enough he wants 7 inches. Now look what we're doing.
Yeah.
Okay, a lot of times it's you guys yelling at me, and then I have to yell, and then I got to turn the mics on.
Well, I love this first question. Let's get started. What do you get for a trade dropping from 2nd to 5? Well, I think you're going to get only maybe a 3rd or 2nd round pick, only dropping a few spots. Unless you drive a hard bargain. I don't know. But having said that, Adam, would you build a team around Baker or Russell Westbrook? I would rather build a team around Russell Westbrook. At least I know, like, I'm selling tickets. I'm making the playoffs every year. Fans are happy. I'll be making money. With Baker, it's not even remote. I know I'll never win a championship. I know I'll never make a playoff run with Russell. But you know what? At least, like, you know, I'm making money. My ownership stake is going to be just fine. So I'm okay with that. If there's an abundance of wide receivers, so why waste an early pick? I absolutely agree. I think there's going to be a wide receiver waiting for you in the early 2nd round, even in the mid to late 2nd round. I think there's going to be a wide receiver there that's still a good pick. Now, if you want to go all in, Olave, Dotson, if you like, you're sold, it would still be tough for me to justify it at the 2nd pick in the 1st round, but that's tough, man.
Yeah, it is.
It's tough.
I agree with you, though. I agree with you.
Is it even possible to trade or dump Goff? It is. It'll just cost a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Money that you're not interested in throwing away right now, guys.
Especially with no
Look,
backup
you're just
plan.
going to have to deal with Goff this year and probably the year after. You're not drafting a quarterback till the next year. And how do you even know? How are you sure that Goff is not in a good standing with Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes? They've seen Goff get to a Super Bowl. Oh, I just saw a chat. No, guys, no. Please don't do this to me. Yeah, Funky, that's the point, actually. Funky's right, but somebody's responding to Darren McCarty. He said, I think he's better than Ed Reed. His vision of the field is out of this world. Guys, do you know what Ed Reed is? Come on. But yes, that is my point. If Hamilton has to be Ed Reed, then taking Hutchinson or Thibodeau, they have to be Khalil Mack or J.J. Watt, right? Absolutely, Funky. Absolutely. When you take a player number 2 overall, you are expecting all-pro talent. That's why Okudah is a bust. Not just because he's not available, but because you took him at number 3, and he better damn well be one of the best corners in football. And he isn't. He isn't. I am extremely afraid they are truly thinking that Jared Goff is the guy. Yeah, Jeremy, honestly, it is a possibility. It is a possibility. I think both edge and wide receiver in round 2, the best tight end in the draft, will be there in the mid-2nd round as well. Can't argue there.
No.
Hey, Adam, got a question. I think it's a good one. If you think Dean is your guy that's going to help you change your franchise, why not take him at 2? What's the point of passing because you pick a couple picks higher?
It's value. I mean, it really
Again,
is.
because I know I can get a linebacker at 8. Guys, look, as a GM,
it's value.
Like, that's the hindsight move. Parsons would go top 5 right now, right?
Right.
No, like, when you're picking in the top 3, top 5, it's tackle, edge rusher, quarterback.
Yeah.
Sometimes wide receiver, sometimes cornerbacks, Detroit Lions, a.k.a. Sometimes defensive tackles. It's usually the best of the best. So, excuse me. Yes, I don't think you take Dean at 2. Just like I don't think you take Stingley or Hamilton.
No.
It does matter where you're taken.
Yeah.
And some players fall and some players don't. And you have to remember, when you take a player at 2, guys, what are you expecting? An all-pro player. So when I take Stingley or Hamilton or Nakobe Dean at 2, I'm expecting all-pro Hall of Fame career. When I take Nakobe Dean at 8, 10, 11...
Oh, the value.
I want him to be a Pro Bowl player.
Yep, and he'll do it.
That's different.
Yeah.
Expectations are different. But yeah, that's a tough question, honestly. It really is, Jack. That's a good question. Yeah. But from my standpoint, I think, yes, there are times as a GM where you need to like throw away the quote-unquote traditional positional value and just take the best guy there if you're 100% sold. But I'm going to ask you, as much as you guys are sold on Hamilton being Ed Reed, why would I be sold on Nakobe Dean being the next Ray Lewis?
Yeah.
Or Brian Urlacher?
With that Nakobe Dean point, I'm going to bring up Devin White at LSU. He went top 5 in the draft. And you know the Buccaneers didn't trade out. They took him at 5. And in college, he was a great linebacker, one of the best linebackers of the draft, if not the best. So to take him at 5 and to have his value at 5, he's done well for himself. But there's only certain guys that come out at least in the top 5. You're taking Nakobe at 2, like you better be damn well for sure he's a gold jacket or something, man. He's going to be a good player. Take him at 10, like Micah Parsons. Look at Micah now. He's taking at 11 or whatever he was in the teens.
I believe he was taken at 11.
So now he's shining now, and you got him for cheaper.
But again, everything falls out in every draft a certain way.
It does.
Okay, I don't want to overcomplicate this. At the end of the day, the Lions have 2 fundamental needs: linebacker, edge rusher. Do I think Dean is worth taking at number 2? No, I don't.
But he's pretty damn good. But
he's damn
2.
good. Yeah. And I would take him at 10, 9, 8. Absolutely. But, again, at number 2, like this is what drives me nuts about the Kyle Hamilton people, the Stingley people. To take a corner or safety or secondary player at number 2 overall, do you understand what you are asking from them to be on your football team? Do you understand? You are asking Ed Reed, Troy Polamalu, Champ Bailey, Deion, etc., etc.
That type of production.
That's what you're asking for. And that's the value you need in order to justify that move. You can take Kyle Hamilton at number 2. I have no problems with it. In 3 years, if he's not entering his prime, getting 5-6 interceptions a year, forcing 2-3 forced fumbles a year.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about Ed Reed comparisons, guys. So you got to be very careful. You really do. Where you pick does matter. It really does. And look at Ed Reed when he came into the league. Year 1, 5 interceptions. Year 2, 7 interceptions. Year 3, 9 interceptions. 5, 7, 9, 3, 8, 3, 4, 3. Career total 64 interceptions. Is Kyle Hamilton going to be anything close to that? Can Kyle Hamilton get 55 interceptions? And that's hard to say, but that's your expectation at number 2. That's what happens when you take a guy that high. When you take Aiden Hutchinson and Kayvon Thibodeau, hey, I need 12, 13, 14 sacks. Every year. Every year. Year 1, I'll let you slide away with 8 or 9. Year 2, I want 11, 12. Year 3, 15. Year 4, I want you to be Defensive Player of the Year. 18, 19. That's the level. That's the standard, guys. This is about standard. And when you want to compare Kyle Hamilton, the greatest safety ever, you really got to be very careful.
Got to watch, yeah.
Good luck. Good luck taking him at number 2.
Tread lightly.
Because he better be the best damn defensive player in football in 2 years, which Ed Reed was. Be very careful. Don't throw away Ed Reed. Just don't throw his name out there like that, guys. Please be very careful. There are going to be players that you pass on that will be very good in the NFL. You need to find the one that fits your team the most. Don't you think the Niners would have loved to have Micah Parsons or Jamar Chase or Penei Sewell, etc.? You know what they needed? They understood they needed a quarterback. They went all in on one. Mm-hmm. The Jets, same thing. Jaguars, same thing. Don't you think they would have loved Jamar Chase, Penei Sewell, Micah Parsons, Patrick Surtain? Of course they would. There are positions you need to fill. We need to go to break. Or, excuse me, it's the end of the show. Wow, 10 o'clock already.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you, guys. That was a great show. Thank you so much. Appreciate all of you. Thank you for supporting in the chat. Make sure you like and subscribe on the YouTube channel. Give us a follow on social media.
Yes.
I did bring the trophy, so there's that. We'll see you tomorrow.
Congratulations to Jeff.
Jam-packed day. Final week of the NFL season in terms of the regular season. So excited to share it with you guys.
Gonna be a great show.
Thank you so much for all the support all year. 2022, let's keep it going, guys. Thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow.